stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets. Jets. There he is once again, lead in from the finest of all accordion playing Jets fans on planet Earth. There he is. Welcome to the Thursday thick of it. I am in a fantastic mood. You know, Thursdays are good for me. Thursdays are good. Mondays, not so much. Tuesdays, I'm a little numb and weird. Wednesdays, I start going, I don't know. Was it that bad? And Thursdays, I'm back. Thursdays, I'm ready to talk about some good stuff. I'm ready to believe. Are you guys ready to believe? R&R says it best. This team is bananas. As O'Leary would say, banana land. This team is something else, but it's Thursday, and we are here. I am GreenBean, and I could not be happier to be here with you guys tonight. I love this show. It just might be my favorite thing. I love doing the podcast, but this one, it's a little something special. I love it very much. That's what I like. And speaking of the Paisans from Brooklyn, let's bring on Pittsburgh's own Frankie from Flatbush. What's up, Banana Man?
Hello, everybody, and I'm sure we're going to have on this Thursday a lot of intelligent gripes. I'm pretty sure we're going to keep it intelligent tonight. I'm sure that there's going to be no pitchforks being used. We're going to keep it. We're going to keep all of our gripes very intelligent, aren't we?
You know, Frankie, the thing is, while I want you to know, I truly believe that you're right, because the Jets, they've given us nothing to be upset or gripe ridiculously or stupidly about. So we're going to be fine, I think, right?
Everything's going well. Everything's going perfectly. I mean, after all, we're getting our QB1 back in the house. We're going to get to evaluate him. We're going to we get the opportunity to evaluate this quarterback without a left tackle. I mean, what's better than that? Going against Alex Highsmith, what could be the problem?
Why not?
I mean, what an opportunity for evaluation.
It really is. We're going to find out just how tough this person's back is. How much of a beating can this young man from Utah's back? How much can it take? Holy shit, not very much. He's already out. We're going to hopefully not hear that. But Frankie, the thing is with the tackles, you know, look, we started this season. We went into the draft and everything. We had an abundance of tackles, right? We really did. We had a first round pick, Mekhi Becton. We had a resurgent George Fant, who one of the best left tackles in the league, only gave up a sack or two the whole year. We have AVT. We brought Laken Tomlinson in. We got all these guys, and then they were backed up with Chuma Edoga, who's been here for 4 or 5 years. We have Conor McDermott. We have Grant Herman's on the roster. And we used a 4th-round pick on a tackle that everybody, I mean, while we thought he should have some development, most people were pretty high on. He's like, yeah, he's a good character guy. He's got the speed, got the feet, got the balance, got the hands. He just needs to work on some strength in particular and some other small things. But we had this abundance, and they go into the cuts, the waiver wire, and they go, you know what? Cut all the tackles real quick. We'll get them back. No problem. They cut them right after Mekhi Becton's hurt. Then they signed Dwayne Brown. He gets hurt. Then George Fant, we learn, he's never really healed from last year. And now we're on our 4th tackle. So interestingly, Frankie, Joe Douglas finally, I thought he should have did this a couple weeks ago. That's a gripe I have with the general manager that overall I do like. He should have taken care of this a couple weeks ago, but he brings on 2 starting caliber. Can we say that? Can we say starting caliber tackles in Mike Remmers, most recent with the Kitty Chiefs, and Cedric Abugabog from the Texans? So maybe, just maybe, Frankie, we're about to, just unbeknownst to us and very organically, without ever being able to possibly see it coming, we might even be going into a new era of tackle play, and we might go through the rest of the season being fine. What do you think of this? Is this possible?
Probably not. I mean,
Come on.
What's with this, now, Max Mitchell on the right, I think everybody has to be pretty excited about Max Mitchell. He's developed faster than anyone could have anticipated, including the coaching staff per Saleh. So that's fantastic. Maybe we have our, long-term right tackle, and he's in place and only going to get better, you would think. And so that's good news. And on the left, for this game in particular, we do have some problem. I mean, it looks like we're going to be starting Conor McDermott. Mike Remmers, because it took Joe Douglas so long to get Mike Remmers in here, it doesn't look like he's going to be ready to go for that game. Cedric Agbuhe, however you say it.
Right.
A bugaboo. So we'll just call him Cedric. All right, big Cedric. Now he's on the 50. He's on the 53 man because he had to be, because we stole him from somebody's practice squad. You have to do that.
Those are the rules.
And so he's going to be the backup, you would think, because he was on the Texans practice squad. He wasn't even good enough to be a backup on the Texans, who don't exactly have the best offensive line in football. So he's a backup, and you think Conor McDermott's going to be starting, so that's a problem for pass pro. Conor McDermott's okay at run blocking, but his pass protection, not good at all. So that's a problem. And but I mean, on the plus side, maybe Dwayne Brown might be coming back, and maybe Remmers will be ready for the following week, and we might have some reinforcements coming. But for this game, you got to worry, and you got to also take a look at Coach LaFleur. How's LaFleur going to scheme this up to avoid disaster? Are we having a bunch of rollouts? Are we having a bunch of RPOs? Are we doing a bunch of screens to slow down Alex Highsmith and Cam Hayward and Devin Bush and everybody else that they have, and Larry Ogunjobi that we could have had, but we didn't?
Totally. Oh, yeah.
But it was good enough for the Steelers, not good enough for us, apparently.
Yeah.
That foot injury, whatever he had.
I'm telling you, right? He was here.
He was here, and he's playing for the Steelers. So
the report was he had a great visit.
Yeah.
2 days.
2 days he was here.
Right.
Yeah, 2 days. But he preferred Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, and how can you blame him?
Yeah.
But anyway, he's part of their line. So how are we going to stop all of these people? Highsmith is the main one, but they got plenty of good people, and we got to find out. So to me, it's a scheme game about LaFleur. If Zach's standing back there waiting for people to come open, 30 yards down the field, that is a terrible game plan. This is a LaFleur game. You got to watch LaFleur closely. Are we rolling him out? Are we doing screen game? Are we doing quick game? Are we doing RPO? We got to do all the things you do to slow down a great defensive team and a great defensive pass rush. We need to be doing that. It's very important.
Excuse me. I agree. Now here's something, and I'll present this to you in a statement, but I mean it for a question. Okay. Think about it in a question format, even though I'm not going to say it that way. Even though now that I said it, I probably will. So, Mike LaFleur, like you said, is really under the microscope this week, because it's one of those things, man, where it is on the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator when we're talking about defense. But for this argument, it's on Mike LaFleur, the offensive coordinator, to figure out how to account for weaknesses. Established, understood, recognized, obvious weaknesses. Now, look, last week, LaFleur had that opportunity. George Fant, who wasn't playing well, you could see he was just not, he didn't have the same hop. He didn't have the same balance. He was not there. He was hurt. You could see it. He was playing. He was playing for us. He was pulling the old Brian Winters act. But it doesn't matter because he wasn't playing well. So they eventually pull him and they put in Conor McDermott, and he is alone against the likes of Jenkinson, right? So it was another one. He's another real one, right? So we have now Mike LaFleur was still in 12 personnel, Frankie. He had 12 personnel out there. And even when he was in 11, he had his tight end out there. Very rarely did he use the tight end to account for the Conor McDermott weakness.
Yeah.
He didn't give him the help, Frankie. He put the tight ends out wide like he likes to do. Now, I understand. I don't agree, but I do understand that some coaches, they have their game plan and they're all they're on the spectrum a little bit, and they can't get off. They can't adjust in real time. They have to think about it, and they got to stay the course. They got to trust their plan. You know what I mean? And I think we're seeing that with this coaching staff. So do you think, and here comes the question, with a week to look at this, just how manipulated Conor McDermott was on the left side, and now he's going against an even better defensive end, arguably, right? Do you think that having this week, he is going to keep someone next to him the entire game, unless they're running a sweep, something to the other side or a trap or something like that where it doesn't matter? But 9 out of 10 plays, is he going to have a Tyler Conklin right there camped out next to McDermott? Or is he just going to do what he does? Hey, I like my tight ends out wide. They haven't caught a reception in that formation yet, but I really, really like it. What do you see happening? Because you brought up LaFleur. Is he going to be able to recognize and account for this glaring weakness? Or are we going to suffer through another game where it's almost like we didn't realize it and we just trust Conor McDermott?
Well, I mean, I don't know what he's going to do, but if he doesn't account for that,
I'm asking what you think.
I mean, anybody with half a brain would account for that. I mean, how could he not? And so it would be hard to believe that, chips and combo blocks and all of that kind of thing are not going to be part of the game plan, and rollouts and screens and RPOs and all that. I mean, you would have to think he is. If he doesn't, then I don't know. Then this whole coaching staff has to go. But I mean, how can you look at Conor McDermott as a starting left tackle and not do that? You have to help him. He needs help. You want 12 personnel? Fine. Put Ruckert in over there and you block him and you keep Conklin on the right, and Conklin goes out for the pass and Ruckert, helps. That's fine. You got to do that. And so I would think he is going to. Logic tells you, that's going to be part of the plan. You roll Zach out to the right. That's something else you can do. You do RPOs. You do screen. Like, if there's a play where they're right on Zach, but then you realize, oh, it's a screen. Okay, that's a nice plan.
Right.
Yes,
you want him to come in.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you have to think that rollouts, RPOs, screens are all going to be part of the plan, and chips and help. It has to be there. You have to have that. And I would think he's going to do that. I don't think LaFleur's an idiot. So therefore, that makes me think he will do that. So, but if he doesn't, I mean, then everybody's got to go, including Saleh, because what the hell are we looking at? This is the most obvious thing in the world. I mean,
yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I mean, look, and I've been hanging with you for a little while now. I want to welcome Jeremy into the fray. He wasn't here when we started. I'm glad you're okay. Jeremy, our producer, is here. Watu is also here. So everybody's here. Everybody's safe. I don't know if Jeremy's happy or sad. I can't tell. He's eating. So that's pretty good. But I didn't know if he was okay. So thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here and everything's okay. But Frankie, I've been hanging out with you guys for a while. Nobody in this, on this side of this stream is one to jump to conclusions and ask for the beheading of coaches in their first year. That's just not who we are. That said, these things, just like we're talking about now with this particular weakness. Now, dude, we had a week to see it. And last year he did this too. It's like, the offensive line is unable to account. Like they're not picking up the stunts. They're not, and he's still doing 7-step drops. Like you have to change the plan and go with the quick 6 over, like you have to do that. You have to go 3-step drop, boom. You got to do that to slow them down. And he doesn't seem to, know to do that, which I struggle. Like you said, he's smart. I struggle to think he has no idea to do that. Number 2, and this is kind of a theme, is that he's too stubborn to do that. Now, I don't know which one it is or somewhere in the middle or anything. But if LaFleur repeats what he did last week, which is not giving Conor McDermott assistance over there consistently, then something is really wrong with him. And for Saleh not to correct that and go, no, dude, get somebody over there now. I don't care what you worked on all week. Yet we need to have help over. If they don't do that, then I am of the thinking that this whole staff is completely useless and they don't know what they're in way over their heads, because this is 101. This is football 101.
And
does that make sense?
What do you need? The thing about it is, what do you need a coach for when everything's going well? If everything's going well and you give me a team full of superstars, I could coach the team. I could tell them to run the routes. I have the playbook. I have the 2019 49ers playbook right here. I'll tell them to run these plays.
Right, run this one.
What do you need me for? What do you need them for? What we need coaching for is
like LaFleur. Play 913, please.
Yeah. If you need to have the 2019 49ers personnel to be good on defense, I could call the defenses for that team. They'll be good. It'll be fine.
Right.
What you need coaching for is when things are going wrong. You need coaches to make adjustments for when things are going wrong. That's called coaching. That's what Coach Tomlin calls running away from comfort and running toward adversity. And that's why you hire a coach. What you want coaches to run to adversity and run away from comfort. And I'm hoping that our coaching staff is not this kind of people who run to comfort. That's not when you need a coach. That's not when it's needed. When everybody's performing great and you have superstars all over the place and they're doing everything perfectly. Coaches aren't needed then. They're needed now when we have a problem and you need to account for it and fix it and adjust to it and make plans around it. That's when you need a coach.
Yeah, well, and you bring up a great point. It's like when there's adversity, that's when you need a coach to kind of dig in there and figure it out and keep everybody's head above water and make them believe when they're all starting to, all their heads are tilting down and looking at the ground. You need that. And this is the thing, and we talked about this a little bit last week, is that during the game, I don't see, like, when it's rough, Robert Saleh is all but silent, Frankie. It's only when it's when they do something exciting that his get back coach can't hold him back. It's not during the bad times. He's calm. He doesn't even need his get back coach is making burgers. You know what I mean? During that part of the game.
I mean, the perfect illustration was the Quincy Williams thing that happened in the preseason. We talked about it. That was when coaching was needed. At that moment, we needed a head coach, and we didn't see it. And that was disappointing. And we're hoping he gets better. But at the same time, you can't hope forever. I mean, we need a head coach in the moments when head coaching is needed.
Right. So, okay. So this is the thing. Here's what we're going to do, everybody. Everybody in the chat, I see you. You're great. Hawk is here. Matthias is here. Harlan is here. Bradigan's here. Zane is here. Jets Forever is here. I think Jets Forever, you know what he's been doing, Frankie? He's writing these little diatribes and he's copying and pasting them and keeping them in a Word document, and he's repasting the same. Jets Forever. I'm disappointed. I am. I'm
my
disappointed.
my theory is he's some sort of advanced AI bot.
He's a bot, right? That's the best. Stud City's here. Anthony, Jin Pak is here. James and Loopy and everybody's here. I love you guys. Some guy, Kevin C, rooting for the Bengals. I gotta say, man, I'm really a big fan of the Bengals white uniforms, man.
Oh yeah,
I think they knocked it out of the park. I really do.
Looks awesome.
It really does, man. And it makes sense too, because it's a white Bengal. I got into a little argument with somebody on Twitter, and they said it makes no sense because there's no Bengals in Cincinnati. I said, well, first of all, they have the Cincinnati Zoo, so there's that. But the other thing is this: it's like, well, then your gripe is with the 1960s version then that named them the Bengals. Like, they're already the Bengals, man.
Are there lions in Detroit? Like, does Detroit house a lot of lions? What's going on?
Are there giants in New York?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's so good. But I gotta say, like, and I also liked the Cardinals. I thought the Cardinals did a good job with their. Now, I don't hate ours, Frankie. I don't. I think it looks cool.
I like our alternates. Cool. I think our alternates should be the primary.
Yeah. But I do think they missed an opportunity. While it's good, and I don't dislike it. The good news is they can change it every year, from what I understand. So they're not married to this. It's not the one time you can pick something or whatever. But I think that they missed the opportunity to do one of two things. Either do exactly what they're doing now with a white helmet, that would have been sharp, or use the 90s logo. You know what I mean? That's what they should have did. But that all said, I'm pretty happy, but I don't think it's on the same tier as what the Bengals did. I think the Bengals, number one, they nailed it. They crushed it. The whole uniform's white, and I love it. So, Frankie, here's what we're going to do. We're going to choose right now to believe that the return of our little cute button of a quarterback is going to be exactly what this team needs as far as mobility, energy, accuracy, all those things. He's going to bring all of it while he shakes off a little bit of rust. We have to know that going in. Just like we're talking about, we know that our left tackle is a weakness right now. We have to know that and account for it. You don't have to pretend it's not there, right? You don't have to do that. In the same way, we have to know Zach Wilson did not have a summer. He did not have a preseason, and now we're in game 4, and he hasn't had any of that. So he's going to come in. He's going to be a little stiff. He's going to be a little antsy. He's probably going to have a lot of adrenaline. He's going to have to kick off some cobwebs, Frankie. So we have to know that. Now, what would be the response? Let's assume that LaFleur already has it planned to help Conor McDermott out. He's keeping Tyler Conklin and Jeremy Ruckert over there all day, and he's going to chip with Michael Carter and Breece Hall. No sweat. Don't worry about it. What is he going to do that first quarter while Zach is a little bit rusty? What is the game plan to make sure that we account for that and give him the best opportunity to shake off the rust, get comfortable, and move into the rest of the game? What do you think LaFleur can do?
Well, I'll tell you what the data tells us, and that is run behind AVT.
Ooh,
That's what the data tells us. We have a very high yards per carry when we run behind AVT. And it's no surprise. He's a great run blocker. So I would think we're going to go run heavy and specifically right up the gut, right to AVT's left, to his right. Mitchell and AVT, let's try and run the damn ball. That's a good way to get Zach situated if we can pull off some big runs, but then make some easy throws for Zach. How about some wide receiver screens? How about some running back screens? How about some quick slants? How about some nice, easy throws? Get into the game. Let's just not worry about the chunk plays. We don't need Dan Marino here. What we need is a guy to just run the offense and take easy throws. Let's just make it nice and easy. Simplify it. Run the ball and simplify. At least in the beginning, let's just get it going. Let's not try to do too much right in the beginning. Let's just nice and easy. Little chunk plays, 4 yards, 5 yards. Let's just matriculate down the field. We can worry about big plays later. Let's let the kids settle in, and get used to it. But I would say the first thing we should do is run behind AVT. The data tells us that, that's where we have the most success. I was looking at it. I was looking at the data in the last game. We got tons of yardage when running behind AVT. That was our best lane. Let's keep doing that. Let's not try and run on the, for Conor McDermott to try and, and this and that and Lakin. Let's run the ball right behind AVT. That's what we need to do, in my opinion.
Well, and you said some other things there too. Now, I believe that. I think that we need to establish the run right away. Now, not so obvious that we do up and 3, down and 3. You have to be creative, and you got to do it the right way. You got to keep the drive going, but the drive needs to be a 6 to 8 minute drive, our first drive, and it needs to be, I would say, 60-40 run pass, something along those lines, or at bare minimum 50-50. And you got to do 3-step drops, quick passes, high percentage plays. Give them the easy stuff. If Zach Wilson is really comfortable with 8 plays, those are the first 8 plays. That's what you do. You go out there, and the whole thing, the whole idea should be, how can I get this kid comfortable so later in the game he's on fire? We don't want to have to put him in this scenario where he has to play catch up and we're throwing the ball 63 times and the running backs have 5 carries each. That's not what we want to do. We got to get Zach comfortable, and I think that, I mean, look, the chat is saying very, very similar things. Guys like AZ Jets and some other guys, they're all saying it, man. Like, we have Breece Hall. We traded up for essentially a first round pick running back. We got to use him. Okay. We also have Michael Carter, who, in my opinion, is still the best running back on this team and maybe forever. I mean, Breece Hall hasn't shown me that he's better than Michael Carter yet. And that's not a knock. I'm just saying Michael Carter is legit, man. We got to get these guys the ball as much as we can. And if you need to be creative about it, do it. If it's quick passes, little screens, stuff like that, get the ball into Breece Hall and Michael Carter's hands and let them go to work. Get Elijah Moore work in the middle of the field. You hear what LaFleur said? He said, why'd you put Elijah Moore on the outside so much? He goes, well, they did a good job of crowd in the middle of the field. It's like, what? No.
Well, that was a weird one. But at the same time, if you're Joe Flacco, you don't have to throw it to him. It's one thing to run a vert. It's another thing altogether to throw a vert where he's not completely open and you want him to go get a 50-50 ball. Elijah Moore is really good at a lot of things. Going up and getting 50-50 balls when the cornerback's in phase is not one of them. And so that's the problem. We have people who can do that. Their names are Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis and Tyler Conklin, if you can believe that.
Right.
We have people to do that. Elijah Moore is not one of them. That's not what he does well. So why in the world, Flacco chose to go there? I have no idea. You can run a vert with Elijah Moore for different purposes. But you don't have to throw it to him when he's not wide open. So
right. There's the force feed. And that's what I hate force feed plays. I really do. Now, if you have a guy who's established, I think you were alluding to this. If you have a guy who's established, you have Megatron, you have Des Bryant, and it's like, not just force it. He's going to get it. He's 75% of the time he's coming down with it. Just get it there. Like they used to say about Braylon Edwards, when he's covered, he's open, like those kinds of guys. We don't have that yet. So you don't have to force it to him. But I still think Elijah Moore should be working the middle of field like they're doing with Waddle and Tyreek Hill right now. I mean, look, I bet they're crowding the middle of the field too. Guess what? Their guys are surgical and they can get open anyway. And that's what Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore have to be doing, man. Use their skills, Frankie.
And what we really need Wilson to do is a lot of what Tua's doing. Tua's not doing too much. He's just finding the open guy and hitting him. I mean,
that's it.
Just simple stuff. He's wide open, Waddle. Hit him. Same thing,
Frankie.
Wilson with Flacco. I mean, Flacco was so bad 2 out of those 3 games.
Yeah,
I mean,
so bad.
Unbelievably bad. Like, I don't understand how bad he was. Like, it beggars belief. Like, why was this veteran who has all this experience not able to hit wide open receivers and making dumb decisions like let's throw a 50-50 ball to Elijah? Like, those are dumb decisions when you have other people wide open and you overthrow them. You don't throw them the ball. You throw it into coverage. I mean, what the hell was Flacco doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have any idea? That was the surprising thing to me with all this experience.
Frankie, but you know what's weird about that is it doesn't matter who we have. They all look like that.
But why?
I don't understand.
Why?
I sometimes wonder, and this is not what I want. Whatever. Like they say, there's that meme out there. It says Tom Brady isn't the greatest quarterback in the league until he does one thing, and that's goes to the Jets and takes them to the fucking Super Bowl. Then he's the greatest of all time. But it's like, I wonder sometimes if Tom Brady came here, is he going to be Tom Brady? I mean, there's something. I think the air's thicker here.
I don't get it. I really don't. I think that was the most surprising thing about our offense was that Flacco couldn't hit open people. Nobody could have anticipated that. I don't think. I mean, he looked good at all in training camp, all getting raves from the beat reporters and everything else. He's got all this experience. You figure he's going to make the layups. Like, just make the layups, dude.
Layups. That's all.
Just make the That's all we need you to do. You don't have to be Dan Marino. Just freaking make the layups, dude. What the hell?
In Cleveland, for the most part, he did that. We had numerous drives, even the strip sack drive. He was at the 10-yard line. So, I mean, he was able to do that in Cleveland. Just get it to Garrett Wilson, get it to Elijah, get it to your guys. And we did that. But the other 2 games, he was horrible. I mean, horrible. So Danger Cobra checking in. What's up? He just says hello, Frankie. Hey, GreenBean, good to see you. Well, good to see you, Danger Cobra.
Well, aren't all cobras dangerous? Like,
no.
Oh,
no.
There are safe Cobras?
You haven't seen the ones that they play the flute and they just hang out?
Are those
right?
Cobras or are those different kind of snakes?
Those are Cobras.
Oh.
Those are
right.
Cobras.
I did not know that.
Now, we don't know if he's talking about G.I. Joe, Cobra Commander. I can't quite see his avatar there. I can't quite. It looks like a person's face, Frankie. It might be Medusa. I think that might be Medusa.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Medusa was Cobras. So Miami's driving. They're right on the 5-yard line here real quick. But thank you, Danger Cobra. We appreciate it. Here comes Tua. He's throwing it, and that was a layup, and he drops it. Okay. Good. We're rooting for the Bengals, everybody. Even though they just beat us, got to do it. Got to root for
the decision-making is by Tua. I mean, he's finding the open guys.
Yeah.
That's all we need. That's all we need.
That's it. So Big Joe 71 checking in, Frankie. He says, as a former Navy vet, I think the Jets should have a haze gray uniforms, the same color as Navy jets on a carrier. We are called the Jets, but really never include that theme in our unis. Yeah, we've talked about this often, Big Joe. You're not alone. Frankie's a big fan of that. I will remind you, there is a jet on the logo.
I think you may be hallucinating.
No, it's there.
I'm going to show you. I still to this day don't see it. But we all know what logo we should go back to. It's the 80s logo. It's a beautiful logo. You just refresh it a little bit for modern. You make it a little bit more modern. That's the logo. And I agree. We should have silver, haze gray, whatever you want to call it. I like gunmetal gray, gunmetal silver. That's another option. But yeah, something that resembles a jet. We have nothing that resembles any jets.
I agree. And, here's the thing, though, Big Joe and Frankie, for that matter. I'm with you. I understand. But I don't want to lose the green. Like, the green is who we are.
Use a green as the accent color.
No, it's got to be the main. But how about this? But instead of white, it's gray. You know what I mean? How about that? Or instead of black, it's gray. How about that? You know what I mean?
I say
here,
gunmetal silver as the main color, and then green because you have to keep the history of it.
Yeah, Frankie, can you see my mouse, my cursor here?
Yeah.
All right. So Big Joe, I want to show you. Frankie doesn't believe he thinks I'm making it up. But you see, this is where the beauty of this logo comes in. Now I'm telling you, this is where Woody and Christopher Johnson, this is it. They're like, they don't get it. It's brilliant. This is what they're thinking. It's a football, right? And football has the crease and the seam and the laces, right? You can see the football. Now remove the football itself and just look at the green. These are the jet wings. Whoops. These are the wings right here. Okay, and here's the engines. It's flying away from us. So that's what they're saying. This is a jet taking off, shooting into the future.
I get the idea, but nobody looks at that and thinks
Nobody. Very few. I know 2 people that do. They're the Johnsons.
It's not like the FedEx thing. Like when you show somebody the FedEx thing, they go, "Oh, I see it now." If you show somebody that, they don't say that. You have to explain it like 17 times for somebody to go, "Oh, that's interesting."
I know, right? I keep trying it. Everybody's like, I know, and I want you guys to know, I don't say that because I'm in staunch defense of the logo. I don't hate it like a lot of other people do. I really don't. It doesn't bother me. Like, I'm fine with it, but I can acknowledge it's very uninspired. It's just like, okay.
Like they didn't even try.
Why am I getting this glare? What is this? It's like, see that, Frankie? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, something's going on.
Let me try something else. I don't like it. Hold on a second. Frankie, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Greenbean.
Maybe this will help. It's not supposed to do that. I don't know what's going on, but anyway. So thank you, Big Joe. Let's do one more super chat, and then we'll get into something. It's 8:36. We got to get into something here tonight. Anthony G, our good buddy, checking in. He says, if you had to hire a completely new coaching staff, but it was all Jets YouTube content creators, who you putting in which spots? Well, I'll tell you what, Frankie is going to be in charge of some sort of analytics, whether he's defensive. I feel like Frankie's offense to me, though. I feel like Frankie's offense. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see Frankie. He's an offensive analytics kind of guy. Now, me, I don't want to be coach. I want to be general manager. It's all I want. I want to control everything. That's it. I just want to control the whole thing, Anthony. That's all I'm asking. Because I'd be on the field and everybody would know while I'm uber supportive and I lift everybody up and I do they know if you are slacking, your head is getting chopped off. And in front of everybody, I don't care how you're feeling. It's over. Like you go 100%. I'm standing there on the sideline. I'm like, hey, like that. Look at him. Why aren't you running? Like that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, I got to say, look, obviously we're not all coaches, right? You know, we can armchair quarterback and some people have more knowledge than others. You know, Frankie's expanding his knowledge with a lot of really cool stuff he's doing. So he knows stuff. You got the Joe Blewitts and then you have the Nanias and then you have the Matt O'Leary's and he has his expertise and he has odds and all that kind of stuff. So we all have like our strength as far as being able to coach a game. I mean, draw up the plays. I don't know. I don't know who could really do that. What I would do is hire Fireman Ed. That's what I would do. I'd say, Fireman Ed, where do you want to be? He's like, I want to be in the stands, man, yelling. Okay, that's you.
I'd tell you what, I'd want to be in charge of media strategy. Let's put me in charge of communications strategy. We're not going to just go out in front of the media and say whatever the hell we want. We're going to have a strategy on what we're going to say about certain things.
Y2K is lobbying for Jeremy to be the offensive line coach, Frankie. Now, I don't know.
Jeremy's hand usage is a little shaky.
Yeah. I think he might, maybe as a coach, though, he might be good at the offensive line. He's like, hey, why ain't you stopping that guy? What are you doing? What's wrong with you? I don't know. He's so strong. We'll get stronger. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, he would say, you need to get bigger. Here, have some snacks.
Here, I made you some quiches.
Yeah.
I made you some quiches, and in a half hour, we have a delivery guy coming. You're going to like it. That's it. That's really good. So I don't know, Anthony. I think there's a lot of us that would do. I'm telling you, man, if this doesn't work, if the Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh experiment doesn't work, I really think that somebody's got to get in Woody's ear and say, dude, you have access to people who know everything about the NFL and this team. Cut it out and just hire us, and we'll do it for $1 million total. The whole lot of us, $1 million. You get 8 coaches for $1 million. You know, just get us in there and see how it goes. And I think we'd succeed. I really do. I believe that. You know what I think? I think they make it harder than it is, Frankie. That's what I think. I think they're making it harder than it has to be. That's what I think.
Especially on offense. I mean, on defense, I'm not so sure. I think they're making it too simple, at least on the front side of it. Maybe it's complicated on the back end. But on the offense, it's certainly you can make the case that we should cut it back and say, let's keep it simple. Especially now, you know, last year we didn't have the weapons to keep it simple. In other words, if we kept it simple, the people we had couldn't get open. You know, we don't have that problem anymore. If we keep it simple, Garrett Wilson going to be open. Elijah Moore going to be open. You know, just get it to them and keep it, let them run with it. I mean, how hard do we have to make it?
Yeah, well, you know what, Frankie? Here's the thing with when you think about it defensively, right? You know, and you're saying maybe it's a little too simple. Now, I think it's interesting because DJ Reed came out and said we might need to simplify things. So even though it's a completely
the back end,
right,
it's
more look, it's a completely vanilla defense in many respects. Yet it's so complicated that they can't even put the vanilla scoop in the bowl. They can't even do that. So it's a vanilla defense that is too complex to understand. So it's wrong on both ends. Here's the thing with defense. If you have enough talented guys, so you have Sauce Gardner, who let's say he's one of the better young cornerbacks in the league. You got DJ Reed, who's among the top cornerbacks in the league. And then let's say you got good safeties and you got good linebackers. If you can just be as talented as or more talented than the offense, simplify it and just tell everybody, do this. This is your job, and we're just going to be better than them. That's it. That can work. That can actually, now I know I'm really simplifying it, But at the same time, if you have more talent than the other side, I'm aware that there's ways to confuse and all that. But if you don't get into any of that shit, you just play simple defense. And you just go, nope, that's my guy. He will go nowhere without me. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. You can do that. That can work too. If you're as talented as we are, and again, I'm not saying that we're Super Bowl level talent, but we are way too talented to be looking like this. So my hope is just like we said with LaFleur. LaFleur knows Zach's going to be rusty. We got to protect him. We got a weakness over there. He's going to account for everything. And in the same way, Jeff Ulbricht, after this press conference today, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is clearly in over his head. And Saleh just says, hey, look, dude, we're going back to this. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to simplify this. We're keeping our best players on the field. Stop with the damn rotation. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do this. Have the guys playing press. We can't give 8 to 10 yards of cushion anymore. And we just do that. I think the defense could come around the mountain too, man. I really do, because I think we have too much talent to be this bad. That's what I think. That's what I think. So, okay, Frankie, it is time that we let everybody here know that the Thursday Thick of It, as of today, is now brought to you guys by our absolute favorite men's grooming company, Manscaped. So Manscaped has decided to sponsor the Thursday Thick of It, and they are now our sponsor for the next bunch of shows for the Thursday Thick of It. And we're going to get into some things. I want to show you exactly what it is that Manscaped has given us. But before I do, I want to remind you that they are officially our new sponsor. They're the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, Frankie. Manscaped's Performance Package, which is exactly what I'm going to show you guys how it really looks. The Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer to you. Now, guys, we've been talking about Manscaped for a year, if not more. We know that their products are good. We think that, hey, it's pretty cool. That's a good idea. Now it's time that we actually get off our ass and order these things, because they are so much better than whatever it is that you're using. Guys, I even use their stuff for my beard. The beard that I have, it is literally taken care of by Manscaped, Frankie. That's the truth. So our deal is 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code GreenBean. Nice and easy. GreenBean, and you're going to get an additional 20% off. I'll remind you too, right now on their website, they're also taking up to 40% off on certain bundles. So you could get 60% off by using the link in the description, using our promo code, and you can get the Performance Package among many other things for what's going to feel like chump change. Now, if my math is correct, Frankie, that's 12 million balls that are being positively impacted by Manscaped. Now, Frankie, they just mailed us a whole bunch of products. Now, did you receive your products?
I did. And I even received something that might be categorized under the Thursday Newsday category that says it's a newspaper. And it says,
look at
we
this.
save balls. That's the
Wow.
headline. Can you believe it?
Well, that is a
Thursday
headline.
Newsday.
Now, if I've ever seen a headline that mattered to me, it's that one, Frankie. We save balls. Look at that.
That's the Daily News. The Manscaped Daily News, everybody. They save balls.
So here's what it is, guys. When you order the Performance Package, this is what I'm going to show you what's in here right now. Number one, it comes with this t-shirt. Okay. And I'll show you what the back says in a minute. So this is the Performance Package right here. Okay. So here's what you get. It's incredible. So number one, you're going to get the Lawnmower 4.0. Now you say, but it's wrapped, Bean. What are you going to do? I happen to have one. Where'd I put it, Frankie? Oh, no.
Right here.
Oh, there it is. Frankie has it. Oh, here's mine. Oh, here's mine, guys. It has porcelain. Look at this thing. Now watch this. Frankie, show them. You know, it's hard to see down there with your balls. Look at this, guys. It has a flashlight so you can see. Under there, you can actually see what you're doing. We've all dealt with that. You have. They have a solution. See this? Go nice and quiet, Frankie. And it has the flashlight on it. So it comes with the Lawnmower 4.0. It comes with your Crop Reviver, which, guys, I'm not sure if you know this. This is ball toner. So look at that. You got the Crop Reviver, little spray bottle. You get your ball toner. What do you got in your hand there, Frankie? What's that one?
This is the Crop Preserver. So you want to preserve your crop, you use this thing here.
That's right. Now, really what that boils down to, Frankie, is it's ball deodorant. So the Crop Preserver is ball deodorant. Look at all the stuff that's coming in this thing. Now, in addition to that, you have all the cords and all the attachments and all that. But watch this, guys. It has a bottom floor. It has a basement. Look at this. So, guys, I'm like legitimately psyched about this. Number one, it comes with a pack of boxer briefs. You get Manscaped boxer briefs, which are awesome, by the way. I have another pair.
And I'm currently wearing those boxer briefs. I don't know if you want me to show them on camera, GreenBean, but you'll have to take my word. I'm currently wearing the boxer briefs, and they're really nice.
They are really nice. Aren't they nice, Frankie? They're legit.
Yeah, they feel great.
So it also comes with this carrying case. Now I'm going to show you what that looks like too. I have, like I said, I have another one here for you guys. It is a leather carrying case. The inside, it's nice and it's got room for all your stuff. But look at all that stuff that comes with it. Now, like I promised, before we end the ad, I'm going to show you guys what it says on the back of this amazing. This shirt is so soft. It's so great. I love these kinds of shirts. Look at this. Now, if you order it,
your balls will thank you.
That's right. So, guys, if you order right now, enough. We've been talking about it for years. You've been thinking about it. I just showed you what comes in the performance package. There are 20 other options that you can get. The performance package is the one that we got, and it is absolutely awesome. If you do that, your balls will thank you. And if you got a lady in your life, she's going to thank you as well, because ball deodorant, ball toner, ball trimmer, it's all in there for you, and you get an extra
trimmer too.
That's right, Frankie. Thank you.
That's for that's for you people who keep asking girls out, the weed whacker, and they keep telling you no, I'm not going out with you, and you wonder why is it that these ladies will refuse to date me? Well, maybe you need to clean up your nose hairs and your ear hairs and your beard hairs, and maybe you're a little animalistic looking and you're a little scary. Clean it up.
Now, I want to let you guys know, when we come back toward the trivia, we're going to do another ad. But the good thing about Jeremy is going to show you how to use the trimmer for your ears and your nose. That's what he's going to do. So him and Wat2K, Jeremy and Wat2K have things that they're going to tell you. But guys, again, in addition to all that stuff, you also get an amazing, it's one of the best nose hair trimmers that you can get. Doesn't rip your hairs out, which I've had those before. It's called the Weed Whacker. So you get the Weed Whacker, the lawnmower, the ball toner, all that stuff. And you get an additional 20% off and free shipping just by clicking the link and using the code GreenBean. When you're in the checkout, it'll say promo code. You type in GreenBean, instantly 20% off. And there you go, guys. I want to thank Manscaped for sponsoring the Thursday Thick of It. And I want to thank them for sending us these amazing products, man. Look, we love them. That's the truth. We've been talking about it. They save balls. Everybody, Manscaped, promo code GreenBean. And there it is. We'll talk to you. I can't wait to see you later on what Jeremy and Wat2K have to say about Manscaped. So let us get back into the show. Thanks again, Manscaped, for sponsoring the Thursday Thick of It. It's high time. You know what I mean? High time. I've been waiting for them, Frankie. I have to admit, I've been waiting for Manscaped. Frankie, honestly, I've been using Manscaped for almost 2 years. That's the truth. I love it. I had the Lawnmower 3.0. So I love Manscaped. It's actually real. Now, Stud City says GreenBean's officially back on drugs. No. I'm serious. I'm serious. Stud City. So, all right, going from the Manscaped ad, we have to get into something very, very important, okay? Very important. We know that Quincy Williams got into it with Aaron Whitecotton on the sideline. That's our defensive line coach. Now, it's interesting because they told us that it was about Quinnen wanted us to rush 4. He didn't like that we blitzed, which is interesting, Frankie, because why is he mad at Whitecotton for blitzing? Is Whitecotton in charge of the defensive line rotation and the blitz, or is Ulbricht in charge? Who's calling the blitzes? Who is it? It's getting a little muddy. It's getting muddy for me, Frankie. Now, in addition,
if Brick's not calling the blitzes, we got problems. The DC
but think
has
about
to
it.
call
Why is
the
he?
blitzes.
But why is he yelling at Whitecotton like he made the choice? So that's if that's even the problem. Now, there was another rumor that's not even what it was about. It had nothing to do with the 4-man rush and the blitz. It had to do with the way Whitecotton was talking about JFM.
Ooh.
And how he was saying JFM blew it and all this kinds of stuff. Now, if you look at the clip, which I can't show you the clip anymore because the NFL banged me on it. I showed it Tuesday night in the after hours show, and they literally, I showed it in 4 different places. The NFL dinged me on all 4 that I showed that clip.
Stupid NFL.
I'm telling you, man, come on. Why can't I show, you guys are
fair use. By the way, it's fair use. That's fair use. That's the very definition of fair use. You're showing a small clip and then doing commentary around it. That's the definition of fair use.
Yeah, well, they dinged me, and I tried to. I mean, look, you can't fight the NFL. It's just like they're huge. You can't fight them. They go, YouTube's going to go, wait, so this guy or the NFL? We're going to take the NFL side. Thank you very much. Get out of here, GreenBean. So that's the way it goes. So I can't show you the clip, but you all know what the clip is. It's on my Instagram if you want to see it. Wait, watch this. I'm gonna take a shot here, Frankie. I'm gonna show you guys something. Okay, I'm gonna show you nonetheless, even though I just said I shouldn't. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Here's the way that it really sounded. See, everybody thinks that Quinnen was yelling something, but here's what he was really yelling, Frankie. You ready? Here it is.
You are? You're in the jungle, baby!
That's what really happened, Frankie. So,
hey, man, I don't know what happened. If Whitecotton's talking bad about JFM, I got a problem with Whitecotton.
Yeah, but what if he's just saying, guys, you can't do that? We had him at 3rd and 9. That was 4th and 9. And, whatever, so he's.
Well, if he's talking about that, then he's right. But I mean.
Well, so watch it again.
No, but why would Quinnen get so mad about that?
But why would he get so mad about a 4-man rush versus a blitz? The defensive coordinators are so it's a little weird to me. Now I'm going to show you guys again, just so you can see it. But watch JFM, Frankie. You see Shepard, you see Solomon Thomas, you see Quincy Williams. They all come over to stop it. I want you to watch JFM here. Can you see it, Frankie? Okay, here we go. Watch just take a look at JFM.
You're in the jungle, baby!
See him? He doesn't do, what did he do?
He didn't do anything.
He sat there. So what is I don't know. So it's weird, right? So it's a weird story, okay? Whatever it is, it's weird. Now, Jeff Ulbricht gave a press conference today, Frankie. Now, admittedly, I did not watch it, but I feel like I did because I've gotten, whether it was on my Discord, my Twitter, my Instagram DMs, in the comment section here, I talked to you, I talked to Watu. I feel like I saw it. But Jeff Ulbricht said some things that are pissing people off in a big way, a lot of people. Now, I'd like to hear your take. Number one, Frankie, what did Jeff Ulbricht say? Sorry, what did Jeff Ulbricht say that's getting everybody all bothered? And what are your thoughts on it?
Well, he basically said, I don't think this was his intention, but the way it was worded, it came out that he was saying, look, we'd like to have Quinnen in the game more. The question was about, hey, why isn't Quinnen playing more? He's one of your best players. Why doesn't he play a higher percentage of the snaps, basically, or something like that? And he said, well, a lot of the times you'd like to have Quinnen in there more, but you look over on the sideline and he's gassed. And so you can't put him in there. He just happens to be tired at that moment, so he's not in the game. So that's what he was kind of saying. People did not like that answer one bit because it sounded like the coordinator was throwing the player under the bus. And that is not good at all. So there's a lot of things wrong with this. One of them is what we've talked about on this program many times, which is the communication strategy. You
Right.
can't just go out in front of our media and say whatever. You have to understand that anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of public opinion. You are
Correct.
facing a firing squad, and the goal is to survive the firing squad and not give them ammunition. This idea that our coaches don't understand what they're actually doing when they're in front of the media is mind-boggling to me. And this is what this is. It could have been an innocent comment. It could have been he's just saying, "Hey, sometimes the guy's gassed. What do you want me to do?" But you don't say that. That's not what you say, especially about a player who's probably the best player on your entire team.
Correct.
You don't say that in front of our media at all. And so the lack of communication strategy has me upset, and has been. It's the same thing with Saleh, and it's the same thing with LaFleur. They don't seem to understand what it is that they're actually doing up there when they're communicating. But then beyond that, it sparked it sort of reignited the debate about defensive line rotations. And Michael Nania, as he does, put out some data about comparable players and how much they play versus how much Quinnen plays. And then other people like Country Club Connor Hughes was saying, no, it's typical for the defensive line to rotate. But just so everybody understands, I mean, the guy who's the most comparable to Quinnen, in my opinion, is Jeffrey Simmons on the Tennessee Titans. They came in the same class. Simmons was Pro Bowl last year. Quinnen has not yet made a Pro Bowl. Quinnen should be better than Jeffrey Simmons, but he hasn't been so far. But they're pretty close. Simmons has been better, actually. But Quinnen has more potential. But so I always look at him. And if you look at the last game, if you just want to look at one game Tennessee played, Jeffrey Simmons played in 64 snaps out of 70. 64 out of 70. He was in there the whole game, Jeffrey Simmons.
Right.
That's a big boy, just like Quinnen. They run the same kind of defense we do. They have Mike Vrabel as a coach, and we do not. And Quinnen played 46 snaps out of 68.
Right.
And that's the debate.
So that's the debate now.
That's the debate going on now.
Right. So let me say this though too, and this is my opinion of that comment. Jeff Ulbrich is catching heat right now, but let's be real here. He's not doing this defensive line rotation because anything happening on the field right now. He told us about this defensive line rotation and that Quincy Williams would play a maximum of 70% of the plays, which is right where he is. He's playing 66, 68% of the plays. He told us this in June or May, whenever the hell it was. Forgive me, it might have been July. I think it was May.
Yeah, back
he told
back
us
in training camp. Yeah.
Right. And do you guys remember the response from everybody, including myself? I remember I was listening to Cool Your Jets, which happens to have Nania. I heard O'Leary. I heard you, Frankie. Everybody said, like, that doesn't sound right to us. Then Robert Saleh came out and said, well, you got to understand, Jeff Ulbrich thinks that they're going to get off the field in 3 plays. So if he's playing 40 plays, it makes a lot more sense. Yeah, okay. If that's what it is, then fantastic. Robert Saleh clarified, at least to some degree, what's going on there. But he's not using this defensive line rotation and making sure that Nathan Shepard and Solomon Thomas have almost 30% of the snaps because Quinnen's gassed. He told us this is what was going to happen 5 months ago. So let's be real. I think Jeff Ulbrich is feeling the heat and he's being defensive, and what he's doing, just like Frankie said, maybe unintentionally, but what he did was he took his best defensive line player, or arguably, right? You can argue otherwise. In my opinion, if he was playing that 90% of the snaps, he'd be coming home with the sacks and the tackles for loss. He's disrupting the pocket every single play. He's pushing the pocket back every single play. So if he's in there more, he's going to do that again. I think he's the best player on our defensive line. If not, he's in the top 3. Okay. So you're taking him out for the likes of Nathan Shepard because this is what they wanted to do before the season even started, Frankie. Do you think I'm off base?
No, they told us they were going to do this. And in theory, it makes sense. In theory, you go, okay, he's keeping him fresh. He wants him fresh for the fourth quarter. okay in the big spots and all that. And, in theory, that makes sense. But the reality is we have the 32nd best defense in the league. We're tied with the Cardinals for the worst defense in football again, according to
Right.
DVOA, which is what I use to determine how good the defense is. In addition to that is what Y2K is saying right here. So one of the things that's going wrong is that we have all of these edge players that we paid for in free agency and draft capital. We got all these edges, and we have we only have a few good quality defensive tackles, and we're taking JFM and putting him on the edge for no good reason, which we said at the time. We had this debate in the offseason. It's not second guessing, it's first guessing. I said, lots and lots of people said, put him on the inside. Start Jermaine. We moved heaven and earth to draft Jermaine Johnson. Heaven and earth we moved to get that kid. And now he's playing 20 snaps a game. Why? Put him out. He's playing well, Jermaine Johnson. Start him. And
Totally.
keep JFM as a defensive tackle. And then you have him and Quinnen. And then you have behind them Rankins and Solly. And then Nathan Shepard doesn't need to get any snaps. Or if you want to make him active, let him get in there on special teams. Give people a blow. He can rush on the kicks. Great. For Nathan Shepard. We don't need to have Nathan Shepard on the field. There's no reason to play Nathan Shepard when you have all of these other edge players, Jacob Martin, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens, Vinny Curry, who's injured, but we got all of these people. And in spite of that, you're putting JFM on the edge for some reason or another. And that's contributing to this problem with the defense. And nobody's talking about that. What about that?
Yeah. Well, and meanwhile, Frankie, Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens, who have more impact than the guys that are playing more, have the least. They are playing the least out of the defensive line rotation. So Jermaine Johnson is playing about 29%. He had 4 tackles in that 29%. Defensive lineman Michael Clemens had 28%, and he had 3 tackles and a tackle for a loss. And here's an interesting thing. Look, you guys know a lot of us, well, a few of us, myself included, liked George Karlaftis, right? George Karlaftis, he's looking pretty good this season. He's playing approximately 65% of the snaps over there, 65 to 70%.
So you are allowed to play your rookies for a,
That's
that is allowed in the rules.
Yeah, and he has less tackles, sack, tackles for everything than Jermaine Johnson has more of an impact in half the playing time. Now, look, I don't think Jermaine Johnson is a perfect player and all. I mean, I have great hopes for him and all that, but he's very, very good at setting the edge. We saw it last week when during a sweep, he completely, he spread that run out all the way to the sideline almost by himself. Okay. And he ended up making the tackle, I think, too, or at least was a contributor in the tackle. He also has a half sack. Why is JFM moved out to the outside to make room for Nathan Shepard and Solomon Thomas, both of who had no tackles, okay, in that game? You're pushing Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens off of the field so JFM can play out of position to make room for 2 guys who have had no impact. Now, just to be fair, Sheldon Rankins happened to have his best game as a Jet, and they didn't go with the hot hand there either. He had seven tackles, 6 solo, a tackle for a loss, the whole thing. I think, let me just see what his percentages were real fast. Sheldon Rankins had 56%. He played 38 plays, and he had 7 tackles and a sack and a tackle for a loss. But can't we even do that? Like, let's say we think we're going to do this, and it just so happens that Sheldon Rankins is on fire. Can't you change it and just go with him, Frankie? Is that possible too? Is that allowed?
Well, the other thing you could do is try it. How about playing our best players a high percentage of the time and see what the hell happens? What could go wrong? We have the worst defense in the league as it is. So how much worse can it get? We're going to lose 50-0. So I would say, listen, Ulbrich, Sala, it's not working, buddies. Like, you tried this. It's not working. We have Quincy Williams. We have JFM. There are 2 of our best players. Play them more. Doesn't mean you have to play them 100% or anything like that. But just take them and play them more and see what happens. If they get gassed in the fourth quarter and they're falling down on the field or something, all right, then you go, all right, look, we tried it. Look what happens. They get gassed and they're falling down on the field, and then we lost at a last second touchdown or something. Try it. I mean,
Right.
This approach isn't working. If this approach was working and we had a top 5 defense, great, wonderful,
Right.
love it.
Frankie,
I don't
thank
care.
you.
Just
Right.
make something that works. I don't care what it is, but if it's not working, try something different.
Right. We say that all the time. Like, look, we have our opinions out here. Now, to be fair to us, our opinions are researched, right? Like, so we're not just, most of us anyway, we're not just flying off the handle here. Like, we look at stuff, we have backgrounds, we've watched the Jets for 40 years. Like, we know the cycles, we know the routines, we know the tendencies, and we know the players. We researched the draft and everything. And we have our opinions. In the event they disagreed with everything we said and went the exact opposite, and it was actually working, so be it.
Right.
Good for you. I actually would love that. I would love to have a coach where you felt like he was the smartest guy in the room. Everything was unorthodox. He made no sense, but he just won. I would love it.
I'd love to be wrong. I heard Jeremy talking about this on a video a while ago. I would love to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. When I want something to happen and I say we should do it this way and the Jets do it another way, I want to be wrong. I want to be 100% wrong, and I want the Jet coaches to be right. I desperately want them to be right. I don't want to be right, necessarily. Right. If they're doing it opposite of the way I think they should do it, I want them to be right, and I want to be wrong, and I want to be successful. That's all that matters.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Now, before I get to this super chat, I'll get right back to you, Big Joe. I just saw a comment that is very, very important. All right, so Big Joe, we're going to get right back to you. Jin Pak said Frankie needs a white beard too. And I think maybe for Halloween, Frankie.
What do you
think?
I'll get a yellow one to match the bridges here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, there you go.
Yellow bridges for those who don't know.
Maybe for the closest Thursday thick of it for Halloween, all of us will have white beards. What do you think? We'll all be green bean, and you guys will try to figure out which one is the real one. See if they can do it. All right. Big Joe. Thank you, Jim Pak. That made me laugh. Big Joe checking in. Thank you for the super chat. He says, this is why Parcells didn't have his coordinators do press conferences. Yeah. Right. Well, Parcells, here's the thing. You're 100% right, but we can't forget that Parcells had already established himself as one of the upper echelon coaches. He can do that kind of stuff. When a guy like look at Joe Judge tried it. Matt Patricia tried it in Detroit. Josh McDaniels tried it over in Denver. They try to implement the totalitarian systems of Belichick, Parcells, Coughlin, and it doesn't work. It's immediate backlash because they don't have the cred. So we have to be careful with that, Big Joe. But you're 100% right. It's like Frankie said before. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Shut your friggin' face, man. You're under the microscope. You're embattled right now. You're having a problem. If Jeff Ulbricht doesn't realize, because it's only week 3 and he's staying in the court, if he doesn't realize that he has 5 million targets on his head, then he is blind. He's completely removed from reality. And Saleh needs to know that about his coordinator and everybody else for that matter. He needs to know this isn't just status quo, man. You guys look terrible. 32nd, not 21st. Okay, there's improvement. It's not what we want, but we're on the upswing. You can argue that. We're 32nd ranked defense after a whole year of 32nd ranked defense. After 8 new starters, including first-round picks, high-priced free agents, getting guys back. They have everybody they wanted, and it's still the 32nd ranked defense. Something has to change, Frank. Something has to change.
And I don't understand why the Jets organization doesn't do training with these guys. I mean, we heard from Garrett Wilson that they do media training. I wonder if it's like, you ever have one of those human resources trainings where it's like, from 1987, and it's always the same guy doing the voiceover. And it's like, when you're doing media, you need to smile and make sure that you're friendly because you need to be taken seriously because you don't want to, and it's like something from 1980s. Maybe that's what they're doing. What they need is they need to have me come in there and tell them how it really is. This is how it's going to be. This is a firing squad. These
That's
people
right.
over here that you call journalists are people with rifles pointed at your head, man. This
Right.
is who they are. They're stirring up drama all day long. That's what their stock and trade is. It's not to be your friends, not to be friendly, and all like that. So they need to do real, media training. If they can't realize it on their own, then the Jets need to come in and say, listen, we're in this media market. We're not in
Right.
Los Angeles. We're not in Miami. We're not in, Cincinnati,
Ohio. Right. We're not.
Ohio.
We're not in
This is New
Arizona.
York, New Jersey, man. These people, the fans are the fans are ready to just explode. We have, these media people who want to stir up drama, and that's how they get their money, to keep their careers going. And this is the reality that we have here. You can't just step in front of a microphone and say whatever comes to mind. That's not how you do it. You should know you're going to get a question about Quinnen if you're Ulbrich after what happened, right?
And you'd be ready for it. Right.
Right. And have an answer prepared. That makes sense. And it isn't stupid. Right. You knew you were going to get this question. Of course, nobody's ever seen Quinnen like that. Have you ever seen Quincy Williams like that? This isn't
Never.
Richie Incognito. This isn't some hothead like Jensen, the center, who's always, fighting with everybody, or the kid that
No, you're
Saints
right.
drafted.
You're right.
This is Quincy Williams. He never gets this. I've never seen him like that ever. And so when that happens, people are going to notice, and they're going to have a lot of questions about it. And you've got to be ready to answer them, properly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, that's such a great point. The fact that Quincy Williams is known as like a very respectful, almost docile person in many respects, the fact that he is the one getting that mad is indicative of a much deeper problem. You know what I mean?
You wonder what the hell that problem is.
Well, look, DJ Reed came out too when he said, look, it's the coaches, the players, something's wrong. We need to have a meeting. And he used the word simplify, man. So I don't know. It is maybe everybody's stupid, and that's what he's talking about. Like Sauce and Whitehead, they don't understand. They just they don't. Maybe, I mean, I doubt it, but maybe that's what it is. It can be anything. Now, look, Sluggo is saying it's PR. Got to keep those egos happy by promising everyone plays. And I honestly think that might be the case. Like they're kind of people pleasy, right? In many ways. But here's the truth of it. Here's the truth. You have your starting four. If it's Carl Lawson, Quincy Williams, JFM, and Jermaine Johnson, they play 85 to 95% of the plays, and the other guys come in and they're backups. It's just that simple. Sheldon Rankins.
Listen to me. The players know that Quincy Williams is a superstar. Quincy Williams and Solly Thomas and Sheldon Rankins, they're not the same. They play the same position. They look the same body type. They're not the same, and the players know it. The players know who the players are. Like out of anybody, the players know who the superstars are. So that could be what they're pissed about, actually, is that there is too much people pleasing going on, and they all know that Quinnen should be playing more and JFM should be playing more and at defensive tackle and so forth and so on, because they all recognize, listen, those are our dogs, man. Those are the people. Those are our stars. They need to play. Just like in the first game, Garrett Wilson needs to play. He doesn't need to be sitting on the bench, LaFleur. He needs to play because he's one of our playmakers. And the players are the first ones to realize it. That could be the tension. And if the coaches don't realize that, it's a simple fix. Play your best players more. Hello. It's pretty easy fix.
And you know what? I think that, them being like, look, the whole thing with Saleh is culture. And if they are tired of this stuff, if they are just like, let's say what you said is absolutely true. They're all well aware. Solomon Thomas, he's a disappointment. He's a solid player at this point. Never reached his potential of a very early first round pick. He's backup. He's a second stringer. You know what I mean? He's depth. Do you think that they don't know that Quincy Williams is supposed to be out front? You think that they don't know that JFM is supposed to be on the inside? Like, we have all these defensive ends. Think about it. We're using JFM on the left side. Meanwhile, Bryce Huff isn't even suiting up.
Yeah,
he's our
that's the other
fastest
thing.
speed rusher we have. And he's not even
Nathan
dressing.
Shepard on the field. All this to get Nathan Shepard
That's
on
right.
the field and to have the 32nd ranked defense.
That's right.
I
I heard
mean-
somebody say it, Frankie. They said, I think Saleh confuses effort with talent, and that might be it. Matthew
Might be.
13400 13400 checking in. Thank you, Matthew. And this is an interesting take, man. Like, it's nice to hear the other side of it. So let's talk about this. At least Ulbrich today mentioned that things must change and change fast. Also good to know that all the players in the locker room are in the same boat. Now, that's interesting. Again, I admit I did not have the time to listen to it. I just got DMs and everything, and I was getting back to start the show, and I didn't have the ability to listen to it yet. But I didn't hear this at all. This is the first time I'm hearing this. So Ulbrich did acknowledge that things need to change and change fast. Now, that's at least, I mean, look, I coupled with everything else he's saying, it's nice to hear him acknowledge that this isn't working. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe he
said
just
that-
thinks, you know,
he said
what,
he said it's not okay the way they've been playing it, and the players acknowledge it's not okay. But on the other hand, what the hell is he going to say? We have the worst defense in the league. We're okay with it? Like, of course we're not okay with it. Like, when you stink, you have to say things have to change. I mean, what else?
Right.
What else can you say? Things will remain the same, and the offense will save us. Like, you have to say it's not okay because you're the worst.
right. It's not okay when you're the worst. Being the worst is not okay. Frankie from Flatbush. There it
Yeah.
is. Being the worst, it's not okay. That's funny. So Matthew, I appreciate you bringing that up. You know, and it is not right, but like, I think, you know, what does that mean though? Does it mean like, hey, we got to continue to do the guy, you know, it's just like Saleh said a little bit last year. He said, it's not the scheme. So what does that mean? If it's not the scheme, what is he saying? It's the players.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
But on the
So-
other hand, we had all these upgrades this offseason. We
Right.
let him go. You know, we let Ulbrich go last year. You know, we said, okay, Ulbrich, you know, you didn't have any players. We had a guy named Freedom playing for us, you know, and we had 1,000 safeties come in here. And we said, okay, you get a free pass for that one. But this year we got some players. I mean, come on. We got 2 coverage corners who are top notch. We got some defensive line players who are really good if you would just play them some more. You know, we got players. So he doesn't get the same pass this year. No, sir. Not for me.
I know. And it's just so funny, man. I'm looking at the comments, and Mo Dean, who's perpetually negative, comes in, and now he's in staunch defense of the coaches, only because we're on this side. Mo Dean is a perpetual devil's advocate. That's all he is. He's an arguer. He'll take whatever the opposite side is of whatever everybody else is saying, right?
He's a troll, basically. He's a Jet fan troll. He just says whatever will get under our skin.
Right.
Thanks, Mo.
Yeah. So he says that they know more than all of us put together. I staunchly disagree, my friend. Staunchly. How many times people have said that about us? Excuse me. So many times over the last 40 years have I been told the Jets staff knows more than the fans.
Right.
And very rarely has that been the case. They have picked the wrong players. They have let the wrong players go. They have called the wrong plays. They have hired the wrong coaches. They have done everything ass backwards. And we as fans knew it. And we still chose to support them. And we knew it. And we hoped, but it was never right. Very rarely. Every now and then they were right and we weren't. But that's why we have a coaching carousel, because they don't know more than us, bro. They don't. And you're wrong.
I mean, this
Mo.
is the coaching staff that brought you LaMarcus Joyner, the worst safety in the league, and said, hey, that's a starting safety. This coaching staff said that. We can do with LaMarcus Joyner. We found out from LaMarcus Joyner, nobody in the NFL said that other than the Jets.
That's
He
right.
got no offers, zero. And we
Yep.
said, well, come on to our team and not only be on the team, be the starter. So the entire league said no thank you to LaMarcus Joyner's services. And we not only said, yeah, come on our team, you can be on our team and you can be a starter. for us.
And we're going to cut young guys
Right.
because you're so solid.
You're so solid. We don't need developmental dudes who have potential to come and take your job. We're good with that. But these coaches are geniuses, we're led to believe. I mean,
Yeah.
they have the 32nd ranked defense last year. They have the 32nd ranked defense this year. But they're geniuses, of course.
Yeah. And
They're
look, and I
geniuses.
want to reiterate. I want nothing more. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got something in my throat. It's really hurting me. I want nothing more than for the Jets to turn it around. And if it's doing it the exact same way they're doing it now, I personally could care less.
Right.
I couldn't give two shits. I just wanted to turn around. But while it's not us talking about it, the answer shouldn't be, well, shut up because they're smarter than you. You know what I mean? It's like, I've been told that shit before. Joe Walton was smarter than me. Bruce Costello was smarter than me. Rich
Adam
Kotite
Gase.
was smarter than me, right? Gase was smarter than me. Todd Bowles was, dude, they didn't know what they were doing. Todd Bowles hired 3 offensive coordinators in 4 years, bro. Okay? I don't want to hear Todd Bowles was a great coach. Todd Bowles was just handed the greatest quarterback in NFL history in addition to a stacked team, and they already don't look the same as they did last year. So I don't want to hear it. I just don't. These guys, we hire guys that don't necessarily, now maybe they know more about schematics, and of course, they're coaches in the NFL. Nobody's saying that. As far as what to do to win, clearly the Jets staff that we've hired over the years aren't necessarily smarter than us. Loopy says, stop overthinking the play calling, Frankie. Call plays for the player's strengths to succeed, not to outthink our opponents. Correct. So what would that be? Frankie, you got to call the first 3 plays. Pittsburgh. We get the ball. Pittsburgh wins the toss, but they defer. They want the ball in the second half. So they kick it off to us. We get it on the 25-yard line. Zach Wilson trots out there right next to Conor McDermott. Hey, buddy, protect me, please. And they run out there. What's the first 3 plays from Frankie from Flatbush?
Before we get into that, something is seriously wrong with Tua. God, you hate to see these freaking injuries.
Was that him on the ground? I just saw it for a split second.
He had something weird going on because he was doing something very strange with his hand. It looks like maybe a concussion issue.
No.
Serious, though.
Right. As much as I don't like Tua, the football play and all that shit, I can't stand that stuff. I always want to see all the players make it. I always want to see everybody at full strength. I want the best players to be on the field.
Agreed.
All that stuff.
So I'm sorry. I was looking at that. It was really weird.
Yeah.
So you're saying the first 3 plays against the Steelers, what do I call it? First play, I want to know if I can run the ball against them. And I run it right behind AVT. I see how we do. I want to know, first play of the game, can our offensive line, especially the solid side, the right side, handle their defense? Can we move them off the ball and run a little bit? So I give the ball to Michael Carter or Brees, whoever's starting. See if I can run it. And then second play, I'll probably do a play action, quick out to Garrett Wilson, get the ball in his hands, let him run around. And then if that's a first down, then I might run it again, and so forth and so on. But then again, you also have to see what the defense is doing. If they're stacking the box, you can't run into that very often. They might put 9 people in the box, and LaFleur calls a running play. Well, Zach's got to get us out of that and put us into a pass play, because 9 people in the box, it's not going to work for a run play. So,
so Frankie just set Zach up with a 3rd and 8. That's what he did.
Yeah, first play, -2 yards.
Exactly. Because the Steelers are like, they're going to run it, and they stack the box. And no, we cannot run it on first down. And then we do it in play action, but they know that's coming. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and then Minkah Fitzpatrick introduces himself to Zach Wilson. Hello, I'm one of the best safeties in the league. Thank you very much. Bink, pick interception.
This is what good safety play looks like, and this is how impactful a great safety can be. I know Jets fans think that safety is not important. I had that argument all off season.
Couldn't be more mistaken.
The safety isn't important in Salah's defense. Yeah, look at his hands. What's he doing?
Yeah, something happened here.
Oh no, dude. What is that?
That is something. This is a concussion or a back.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know what's happening here.
Dude, I've never seen anything. Yeah, man. That is strange.
His hand, but
nah, dude. His head hit the thing. I mean, he was like
It's a this is bad.
That's very bad. You hate to see it, man.
NFL,
Especially because
man.
look, who was thrown under the bus more than two of this offseason? Right?
I know, and he was doing so well.
And he's doing well. He's doing well. You hate to see it, man.
And you know,
and that
they
would
brought
be
him back. He had a weird concussion thing in the last game. I don't know.
Right.
If you saw
I was going to
that.
say, didn't he already have one? Right.
Well, and they said he cleared protocol, but he looked like he was concussed. But then he got up and he was walking, and then he all of a sudden like lost his balance, and that's very strange. And then they said it was because of his back and not because of his because of concussion. They said he cleared concussion protocol twice, or had him checked twice, and he cleared it. But the NFLPA wanted to have an independent investigation as to whether the protocols were followed, because it just looked so terrible on television. He's walking and he all of a sudden just wobbles. Like, that's weird.
Wow.
So, and now he's playing on a short turnaround.
Yep.
So that's probably was a stupid decision, but I guess they got the clearance, medically cleared, but probably should have just not started him this game, but, well, that sucks.
Yeah. Either way, hopefully he's okay. But that was strange. I don't know if I've ever seen anything look quite like that. That's one of those things where, he says, you remember that old commercial? He goes, the quarterback's down, the coach walks up, he goes, what's your, he goes, where are you? He goes, we're in a stadium. Who am I? You're the coach. Who are you? I'm Batman. Remember that? Remember that commercial?
I don't remember that.
Oh, I'm Batman. Matthew check. Now, here's to continue the Ulbricht. He says, in the words of Ulbricht today, the players are not okay with it, and us coaches are obviously not okay with it. We are putting every resource we possibly can to change it. I'll tell you, there's only one resource that needs to happen. Keep your 4 best defensive linemen on the field and replace LaMarcus Joyner. That's it.
I mean,
I'd like to see Sherwood too. Frankie, Quincy Williams, they're saying he might try to play this week.
I don't know
sprain.
about that. He's not going to play this week, I don't think.
I heard
maybe
that.
next week. He's not as seriously injured as it seemed on the day. It seemed like a season ender when it happened, because they put that boot on him. But this is the thing I wanted to talk about with that. When he went out, I said, oh, man, Quincy's out. All right, well, at least we'll get to look at Jamie and Sherwood. Wait a minute. What is happening here? Why is Marcel Harris coming into the game?
Right. What is that? What is that?
Happened to Jamie and Sherwood? And then they asked Saleh about this in the press conference, and they said, what about your linebacker group in the absence of Quincy? He said, well, we have faith. We have faith in Quan, and we have faith in Marcel Harris, so we think we're good there. And I was thinking, yeah, forgot somebody, Saleh. And that tells you who's top. Saleh, that's a tell with Saleh. I don't know if you remember, but he has a tell. When they ask him about his position group people, the people he names off the top of his head, those are the ones who are most prominent in his mind. And that's when I started realizing that Nathan Shepard was someone that he thought was actually good, because whenever they would ask him about the D-line group, he would mention all these people and Shepard. And I was like, Nathan Shepard, why are you naming Nathan Shepard? He's not anything. But then it turns out he is something in the mind of Saleh. So this is a tell that he has. And the fact that he left out Sherwood tells you something. Now, maybe they changed it because maybe in the moment, in the middle of the game, they thought Harris was a better fit to come in the middle of a game rather than Sherwood. Maybe Sherwood wasn't ready and wasn't prepared, in the game plan or something like that.
Maybe. I mean, look, Sherwood is Robert Saleh's personal project. He's his Warner. That's who he is, right? He mentioned him in comparison to Warner. He told us Jamie and Sherwood absolutely belongs. He had a really solid training camp and preseason, looked fantastic. So why isn't he even? I mean, he's not even in the top 3. Quincy Williams, Quan Alexander, Marcel Harris. So what's up? How about Hamza Nasrallah? I mean, what did we do here? What's with these projects? We had all these safeties turn linebacker. Dude, that's a Saleh thing. That's what he wants to do.
Yeah, and that's a trend. That's a trend around the league. You need quicker, faster to keep up with these people like Tyreek Hill and Waddle and everybody. So I don't know. Maybe it's possible that Sherwood's speed isn't back to what he was last year before the Achilles. That's possible. And he's fast enough to be on special teams, but Harris moved ahead of him because he's not moving the same as he ought to, or that he could. And maybe that returns next year after the Achilles, heals more. That's the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, I was very disappointed. I was like, man, I want to see Sherwood. What's going on here?
Me too. I mean, the idea that, look, we've seen it before with like a young linebacker or a young safety. They come in and there's like an injection of like energy and youth and aggression. We've seen that before. And I really was hoping that Jamie and Sherwood could do a little bit of that too. I think that would be exciting. And the fact that we're seeing Marcel Harris, who's kind of a cast-off. You know what I mean?
I mean, and you'd think, Sherwood for one thing is a sure tackler. For a team that doesn't do too much tackling, you'd think you'd want a guy who, when he gets his arms on you, you go down because he's got those monster long arms.
Yep. And he also has a little bit of coverage ability too, buddy. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what he should have. But it makes me wonder if he does have that at the moment, because why else wouldn't he be in there? You know what I mean? So I didn't get that. I didn't get it.
Yeah. I don't understand. It's really something. Now, Loopy says Saleh has too much faith in his coaching staff. I know. I'd like to see him challenge people. That's the thing. I mean, the only one they're really challenging is Denzel Mims. They made him learn 3 positions before he could get on the field. I mean, honestly, the way I see it, Denzel Mims is the only player that they have that they are making. They're penalizing for drops and penalties. It doesn't matter. Corey Davis has had more drops than Mims last year. He had more impactful drops, like interceptions that were in his hands first. He's had more penalties, and there's not even a peep about him. So I don't understand. That's the thing. It's like, look, again, I want to remind everybody. You guys know I like Mims. We all have our players, right? We like certain guys. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't, right? But we like guys. And in the event the guy I didn't like didn't make it, and the guy that they picked is just clearly he's just doing much better, even if he's not the same athlete, he just wins. He's baller. Then it is what it is. But like when you look at decisions like the Nathan Shepard thing, like the JFM on the outside, like the rotation, like the Jason Pinnock and LaMarcus Jordan, when you look at all these things stacked on top of each other, I don't know why it is that most Jets fans still feel pretty confident that their word on Denzel Mims is law. I don't understand. Like, we disagree with so many of their personnel decisions, yet where Mims is concerned, we're just like, yep, well, clearly if he was good, he'd be on the field. Really? Where the hell's Bryce Huff? Don't tell me he sucks, because he doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's being borne out. I mean, we're going to see the rest of the year. It's only 3 games. But if we wind up with the 32nd defense again, and you look at all these decisions they made, then you have to look at Mims and say they're probably wrong about him too. I mean, and even if you look at it like, Jeff Smith is getting 7-8 snaps a game. He's not doing much on the offense. But even if all you did was want Mims to have those 8 snaps to block for you,
right,
which every West Coast offense needs the wide receivers to block. Mims is a great blocker for a wide receiver. Got news for you. And if that's all he did, if he never caught a pass, why would you not do that? And all to make sure that you keep your secondary gunner play as top notch as you can get it. I mean, come on.
Agreed. And that's it, right? It's very, very, it's very accurate. Now, look, especially like when you get into a scenario now, Frankie, where it's like, we have the left tackle problem. We have a rookie at right tackle. So even though he's been playing well, he's still a question mark. You can't be confident that the question's been answered at right tackle. And then you got Laken Tomlinson, who's been very spotty. Connor McGovern,
that's another choice they made.
Right.
Another Laken Tomlinson. I can't put that really even on Joe Douglas, because who in the world knew more about Laken Tomlinson than this coaching staff?
Right. And look, and I mean, that was my guy too, for the same reasons. Yeah. I'm really surprised. But like when you look at all the issues we're having protecting, wouldn't it make sense to get Jeff Smith out of there and bring in Denzel Mims, even if it's just for blocking? Right. Like, let's say your offensive line just can't handle it, and you need to have 12 personnel out there. And your receivers, like, you go ahead, you bring Denzel Mims and Corey Davis along with CJ Uzoma and Conklin to protect and block, you know what I mean? And then they all run short routes. And like, even if you have to do that for a game or two while the offensive line, gets up to snuff, then you do that, in my opinion. Then you do it. I mean, you don't want to see Garrett Wilson taken off the field, of course, but there are times you have to do certain things. If you like Garrett Wilson's great and all, but if Zach Wilson's getting chased around and he's on his back all day, it means nothing. We've seen that too. We know this.
And if you put him in, they've done this a couple of times, and I don't love it. Garrett Wilson will come in motion. He'll come to the end of the line, and he'll be asked to block on a running play. It's like, if you're going to do that, bring in Denzel. Just let Denzel block his butt off. Like, why are you putting Garrett Wilson's not a good blocker at this point in time. That's not what he does.
They do it with Elijah Moore all the time, too.
Yeah, Elijah Moore does it, too. We're going to trick him. They never think Elijah Moore is going to block somebody. So now we have Elijah Moore trying to block somebody.
Right. You want to know why they never would think it? Because it's stupid. Right. And they're going to crush him. Look at Elijah Moore. Right. And in his defense, Elijah Moore's going to try his ass off. He's that kind of guy. He's going to give you everything he's got, but he's 4'6" and he just can't do anything. You know what I mean? Jeff brings up a good point. Guy. You're right. I agree. And that's the thing. Like Corey Davis and Denzel Mims out there with Conklin, Rucker, Uzoma, dude, that's a thunderous bunch. You know what I mean? They can really help. Jeff Otis Brown, it's a good point. And I was actually thinking this, Jeff. But I mean, when they're running a 4-2-5, it doesn't quite make the same sense, but I'm with you. He says that Sherwood is Mosley's primary backup, and he says maybe they don't want to have him on the outside, and that's where Quan and Marcel Harris and I do understand that. For me, just like, look, I come from an era where Mo Lewis, you're in a 3-4. He plays outside. He's a pass rusher. Great. You switch to 4-3. He's outside. Now he's in coverage. Like, I like guys you get the best football players on the field, in my opinion. I don't like all this specificity, man. It just bothers me. Like, I'm good in the 3 tech, but I can't be moved over to 1. I can't be moved to the 1. I'm just not as effective. Get the fuck out of here, man. Go in there and play. What's wrong with you? You ever hear Joe Klecko say that? Said, put me anywhere. I'm going to kill that guy. And that's what I want. I want players. Yes, I can. Yeah, I only play the Mike. I can't play the Will. Like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying, Jeff? You with me, buddy? I know you are, Jeff. I'm with it.
We're in nickel 80, 90% of the time. Like, we are in that last game, we were like 75, 85% nickel. So that's 2 linebackers on the field. So there's no middle.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. There is none. Right.
So put your best guy out there. It's like, whoever that may be. And we were hoping it'd be Sherwood, and I guess not. Now maybe he hasn't developed. I don't know.
This is an interesting point too, Frankie, from Stephen Engel, our old buddy. Isn't it interesting? The NFL stacked the odds against us. They gave us the AFC North, one of the badass divisions for the last 10 years, 15 years in the NFL. They gave a 4-13 team the AFC North, right? And then on top of that, we have 2 consecutive games where the team gets 10 days break against us. What is that? What is that? What's going on, Frankie?
To worry about this is like worrying about the color of the chairs.
Oh, of course, but we could still mention it. It's weird.
Can we block somebody? Can we tackle somebody? Can we sack a quarterback? Can we get an interception?
We would. How about we would if they didn't get so much rest, Frankie? They're too rested.
Can we put our best players in the game, please? Can we figure out how to utilize Denzel Mims in a way that might help the team? Can we get Bryce Huff, one of the fastest people off the line of scrimmage, into the game once in a while to maybe scare somebody? I'm not worried about the 10 days rest and this and that. I just want to block somebody and tackle somebody and sack the quarterback occasionally and get some turnovers. How about that?
Yeah, I'm with you. But again, I'm just saying it's an inch. Like, what the hell is really going on in this world? I don't understand. Like, dude, we're one of the worst teams in the NFL. And not only are we not getting the traditional benefit of that, like, okay, I get it. You have to play certain divisions, and sometimes the chips just fall a certain way. But do you have to give them all these? We're playing all the teams on the long weeks, and then you took all the bad teams of that and you stuck them in the back when the game's more than likely won't mean shit.
You can't expect any favors, Greenbean. When you are the Jets and you lose and you lose and you lose, and you're in New York and New Jersey, one of the biggest markets, the biggest market. You think the NFL likes the fact that the Jets and Giants have been bad for this long? They want us to be good, but we're not doing them any favors. And so
they're not doing us any fucking favors. Tell you what, they're not helping us though, Frankie.
And why would they?
Because they're supposed to love us.
They're not
Just like you
supposed
said,
to love
because they want us to be good. They should be helping us. We should
Listen.
play every one of our games against the Chicago Bears. The hell is this? Like, why'd they stick the? But when do we play the Bears? Like week 16? You know what I mean? Like, shit, man. All that's
Man
gonna
up
do is ruin
and
our
play
draft
some
pick.
football, man. Block somebody, tackle
I'm with you.
somebody. That's all.
Don't get me wrong. I agree with you. Don't
Get
get
an
me
open
wrong.
receiver. How
I
about just
agree.
throwing it to the receiver who's open? It's not that hard.
Yeah. So the main catch checking in with a super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, I think I heard you on O'Leary's show this week. Maybe I'm dreaming, but I feel like I heard you on there. I listen to O'Leary's Just Jets podcast every week, as I'm sure you guys know by now. But I think I heard you on there, buddy. I think so. It was a good call, too. I don't remember what it was. But thank you for the super chat. He says, I think we need to take a moment and pray for Tua and his family. Hate to see that happen. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, I don't want to force anybody to do anything spiritually or religiously that they don't do or anything like that. But I mean, I feel it, man. And I appreciate the sentiment from a Jets fan to a Miami Dolphins quarterback. I mean, look, like we talk about all the time. I mean, like you guys know, I hate every NFL player that's not a Jet. I hate them on the field, right? I'm in the NFL spectrum. I root against everybody. I hope their careers go down the toilet. Like that's just how I root. But injuries and pain and car crashes, and I hate that shit. When what's his name? John Pierre Paul blew his fingers off with the fireman. I hate it. I can't. I don't want anybody's kids to be sick. Like as far as humans and men, there's more important things in this world. You know what I mean? And watching Tua go down like that, even though the Dolphins are my most hated team, they're my number one. They're the team I hate the least. I mean, the most. I like the least. Even when you see a young quarterback go down like that and look like that, that is alarming. And I don't like it one bit. And I appreciate the main catch's sentiment. We should all be rooting for him, at least to have to not, maybe this isn't as serious as it looked. You know what I mean? At least we can do that. So I appreciate it. Steven's saying, who's the backup? Teddy Bridgewater. I'm sure you know by now. There he goes. Look, Teddy back to pass, throws a little dump off to Tyreek Hill. Yeah, that's how that goes. That was a first down. Nice and easy.
They also brought onto the roster 7th round pick Skylar Thompson, everybody. Skylar Thompson.
Skylar Thompson?
In case Teddy Bridgewater gets injured.
Coming out of the bullpen. Skylar. Thompson.
And he looked good in the preseason, by the way. I watched him play. He looked pretty good to me. But that's a preseason.
Yeah. And Drunken Disorderly says, Mims will never play Greenbean. Salah, for some reason, has an infatuation with subpar players like Jeff Smith, Shepard, Joyner. The biggest issue we have is we can't get out of Roman. I want you to know, and I've definitely cooled it, right, with my Mims diatribes. But every now and then it pops up. But I actually agree with you, Drunken Disorderly. I mean, it's like whatever it is, Salah and LaFleur and the gang, they don't like Mims. Whatever it is, maybe it's legitimate. Maybe Mims is drawing pictures. He's writing bad stuff under all the desks. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's carving shit. He's putting gum in people's lockers. Who knows what it is? But something's there, and we don't know what it is. As far as just young talent, I think Mims has significantly more upside and potential than Jeff Smith, all these other, Berrios. I mean, I love Berrios, but I don't think Berrios and Mims are even in the same conversation. Thing is, Berrios is consistent, and I understand I get it. You don't want to take Berrios out. That's fine. But I think at least Jeff Smith on this roster. I think Corey Davis too. Between us friends, I would bounce Corey Davis in a heartbeat. I know there's a big defense for Corey Davis. I don't know, dude. Every week he does something stupid. Whether it's a drop pass or he just can't get open all game, or he does that stupid ass penalty.
Yeah.
Right, personal, whatever it is, it's always something. Corey Davis has been a net negative for this team. And I liked the signing, and I'm rooting for him. I'd like nothing more than from here on out for Corey Davis to catch 87 balls for 1,154 yards in a Pro Bowl. I would love it. Love it. Just don't see it. So that's what it is.
But you have to wonder why. You have to wonder why this is going on. Why are we making these decisions? Why is it that the fans know and the rest of the NFL knows that LaMarcus Joyner, for example, isn't a starting free safety, but our staff thinks he is? Why? Why is that? Are they just dumb? I mean, what is going on?
Here's what I think, and I'm going to silver line this. I'm going to spin it. Here's what I really do think. Now, to their detriment or not, and right or wrong, here's what I think. I think Saleh and his crew are ones not to give up on someone when the going gets rough. I think if they believe in you, like clearly they don't believe in Mims, they don't believe in some other guys, but the Nathan Shepherds, the LaMarcus, once they believe in you, they're not going to let the whims knock them off their belief. And I think there's something admirable about that. That's a credit in some respects, not to be subject to one bad game or, a little bad stretch, like not to be like overreactionary and all. And I get it. That said, it's been pretty consistent for 20 games. The same kite tie. I think it's time you start moving off of some people.
You could also call that stubbornness.
Yeah, you can.
Which
that's the negative side of it, right?
Which seems to be a theme here.
Miami just scored a touchdown on it just looked like nobody could tackle him. Who was that? Edmonds.
Yeah. Nice play.
Edmonds. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
Now, that was a good signing. Bridgewater was a good signing for them for this reason. That was a good, smart signing to get Bridgewater in there as a backup.
Just so you know, I still maintain that Matt Rule signed Ted Bridgewater for $63 million. Why did he get rid of him after? I mean,
right. After all this Carolina Panthers stuff, they could have had Bridgewater in there this whole time and built around him and give him weapons and everything else, and they would have been much better off than what they did. Much better off. Just stick with Teddy. What was the problem? He's not the greatest, but you can win with him. You can win with him.
Yeah. Matthias Simon, the owner-operator CEO of the Greenhouse on Facebook, he says, I hate to say this, but I will know more after this game. Is Saleh clueless? We're about to say. I think this is a pretty important game. I actually agree with that. Because look, the truth is while we're all having feelings and the truth is it's only 3 games and we won one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the truth.
Yeah,
that's
we got to see how
truth.
It plays out. And if we reverse it, great. I won't, if Marcus Joyner is playing great, fine. I'm happy to be wrong. Very happy.
Too.
I want to be wrong. I desperately want to be wrong.
It's just that we're going into a ravenous, home field advantage to a team that is as well coached and well run as any in the NFL. And it's just hard, even though we're matched up with them pretty well. We really are outside of left tackle. You know what I mean? Like, we're matched up with them pretty well. It's just hard to believe that we're going to turn it around against them. Now, I happen to believe that we're going to win this game, Frank, even though it might sound like I actually believe we're going to win. I do.
I have a hard time.
But it would be, I know, that's the thing. It's hard to justify. Watu has some stats that he'll get into us with in a minute or two. We're going to bring on Watu for some trivia. And I'll tell you, man, it's not, once you hear this one stat that I'm going to hear for the first time in a few minutes, once that happens, you're going to be like, holy shit, we're up against that too. Oh, it's good. So let's do that, Frank. Let me see. I think I have one more super chat in here. Where did it go? It is Hennessy. What's up, Hennessy? Thank you. So Joe Klecko wouldn't play with this coach. Joe Klecko would, he played with worse.
I think Joe Klecko would do whatever was asked.
I think, right. I don't know, Hennessy. Joe Klecko actually came to our facilities and said that he's never seen camaraderie like this. And Woody goes, you had camaraderie. He said, not like this, essentially.
Joe Klecko said he asked everybody he knows about Robert Saleh. He said, I asked around to all my contacts. Who do you think Joe Klecko knows? Anybody who knows about football?
Couple.
Anybody? You think he knows a few people who know a thing or two about football? So he asked everybody he knows about this Saleh guy when we hired him. And he said he got glowing reviews from everybody. Everybody he talked to said, this is the guy. So I don't get it, to be honest with you. I don't get the stubbornness. I don't understand why he's not better, and I don't understand why the staff is not better. I really don't. I don't get it.
I know, it's tough. And again, guys, let's just whittle it back down to its purest form, reduce it. It's 3 weeks and we won one of them. Now people say, it was a miracle. No, not really, guys. I mean, it was 14-14 at the half. We played well. We were driving all game on them. So it's like, yes, it got a little bit out of hand in the last few minutes, but hey, they gave us an opportunity and we came back. I mean, it happens all the time. It's football. But it wasn't like we sucked all game and then in the last 2 minutes, we, all of a sudden came alive. That's not accurate. You know what I mean? It's not accurate. It was a good game. Yes, it looked like we lost, but we ended up winning it, and that is a testament to the team. We're going into week 4. We played 3 games and we won 1 away, and we won an away game. So that bodes well. I mean, look, the Cleveland audience or crowd is also very loud and into it. You know what I mean? They're another bunch. So who knows? Maybe we do well in that environment. That'd be nice. I mean, you'd like to see us give the home crowd some fun, right? Maybe the home fucking people paying for the tickets can have a nice day. But hey, if we win away games, that's fine too. So Ablab, let me bring Watu on just so we can set up for the we're going to set up for trivia. I'll bring Jeremy on as well in a second, and then we'll do your super chat. So let's bring on Virginia's own Watu. Oh, Frankie, look what he's reading. That's an interesting newspaper.
How we doing tonight, gentlemen?
We save balls. Now,
Thursday, Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Jeremy on as well. We'll get to you in a second, Ablab. Jeremy from Jets Chaos himself. Now, Watu was reading a newspaper, Jeremy, and I want to say something. I'm not sure if you were aware, you weren't here yet, but as of today, we want to thank Manscaped for being the official supporter and sponsor of the Thursday Thick of It. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered, Jeremy. Precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, which Jeremy just received one in the mail, as did Watu as well, is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And if you need to do the math, 6 million men worldwide, that's 12 million balls. If you want to get involved and save some money, look in the top left, you'll see it. You can get 20% off and free shipping by using the promo code GreenBean. And again, if you go to their website, that's not the only thing you're going to get off. There's other deals that can be combined with the 20% off. You might even get it what feels like for free. So amazing. Now, Jeremy, you got the performance package as well. I think I heard a rumor that you like the nose hair trimmer and the ear trimmer. That's called the Weed Whacker. What do you think of that thing, Jeremy?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you about it. About 2 years ago, I woke up and my wife was cracking up. And it's not the first time that's happened. She laughs at me all the time. But it was weird because I opened my eyes and she's just laughing and laughing. And I go, what? And she goes, you have hair growing out of your ears. And I never really looked or noticed, but sure enough, I had hair growing out of my ears. And now all of a sudden, let me tell you about this. This Weed Whacker is so good that my biggest regret about it being so good is I'm waiting for the hair in my ears to grow back for the fun of using it again. I mean, look at this. I could stick it in there, move it around. There's no pain. There's no pain, right? It doesn't hurt.
Perfect.
And here's the thing. I was blessed by God with this huge nose. Now, there's a problem with that.
God. Yeah.
The hair in my nose, it's hard to go in that deep with scissors. I once cut myself trying to do it. But look at this. There's no cuts. There's no cutting, right? I do this. I shove it in there. I pull it out. I don't feel the thing. But I'm telling you, all that hair that used to come out of my nose a little that I'd see in the mirror, gone.
That's right.
I love this thing.
It's amazing.
So you're saying these products can save your marriage. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I could at least wake up to not having a woman laughing at me.
Right.
Oh.
And that's a good start, Frankie. That's a pretty good start. Right.
Yeah.
Now, like Jeremy said, that is the Weed Whacker. The Weed Whacker comes in the performance package among so many other things. Like, do you guys have your lawnmower? Jeremy, watch 2K. Look at this, guys. Look at that. Frankie's got one. Turn the flashlight on, Frankie. What do you got? Look at this. You know, when you're shaving your undercarriage, it's hard to see under there. I'm not sure if you've looked. It's dark. And there's a whole bunch of area that you can take care of. And this lets you see. It's really quite amazing. When you see it, you're like, oh, my God. How did I ever get by without this thing? So you get the lawnmower, you get the weed whacker, you get the crop preserver, which is a ball deodorant. You get the T-shirt, you get the underwear, you get the bag, you get everything. What's the other thing we got?
We got the crop reviver. We got the ball toner. You can't forget
even
that.
more Green Bean.
The ball toner. Right, Watch2K. Thank
amazing.
You know, when I met Adam in North Carolina, he told me all the time, he goes, you know, that what guys never get to have or never knew they could have that they might want. And I said, what? He goes, well, girls have something, you know, down there when they manicure themselves, they have something called a landing strip. Well, with these sizes, with these like pieces, are you seeing it here? You can adjust the size.
Right. And they all come with it. Right.
Everything. Adam finally solved his problem. He now can give himself a landing strip. And he was so happy about that because men should be able to do that too.
That's right.
And now
I don't seem to remember
can
that
now
particular
go
part
on
of
dates.
I don't recall that part of the conversation, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Now,
But here's the thing.
Solved all of Y2K's dating problems, right? Y2K. I mean, before
that's
girl would look at you, but now
never.
with these products, now you can't keep them away. They're
especially
all over you.
Especially if I go out in just the boxer briefs and the T-shirt, it is a chick magnet right there.
And the truth is you
Jennifer knows.
It's that high quality. You can go out in the boxer briefs and the T-shirt. Now, look, we have a woman in the chat right now. Jennifer Slattery says, pamper your package. Just like, right, there's so many products out there for women to take care of everything. It's high time that men had legitimate projects or products. We've been making do with whatever's out there. Now, Jeff Otis Brown asked, can it shave a head or just balls? Jeff, this is the actual trimmer that I use for my beard. This is it. I used a lawnmower. It does everything down there, but yes, it can shave anything. If you want to use it for your head, it works for your head beautifully. You want to use it for your beard, it works for your beard beautifully. And there's even something else, guys. The cologne is badass. And you can get that too. It's like, I mean, these products are stupendous. Again, we've been talking about Manscaped in the Jets community for a long time. You've been thinking about ordering it. No time like right now. This is the best deal you're going to get. There are percentages off on the website. You can couple that with the Green Bean promo code, and you can get 30, 40, 50% off in some instances for these products. Go ahead, click the link in the description. You won't regret it. The products are fantastic, and why not save a bunch of money while you're doing it? And I thank Manscaped for sponsoring the Thursday Thick of It. Once again, thank you, Manscaped, for all you do. All right. So now we're going to get into some trivia. Knobcraft says the touch hole trimmer. Right, exactly. That's what it is. Now we're going to get into the trivia. Now, Y2K, before we get into the actual trivia question itself, you had an interesting stat. Now, can you say the stat without blowing the trivia, or do you need to combine it? Or I'd love for you to tell the people in the chat, including Jennifer Slattery, what it is that we're really up against this week.
Yeah, I'm throwing this extra info in just for Jennifer Slattery. It's really all about her at this point. No, so I'll tell you what, if you're a Jets fan, there are a lot of things in life that you don't like. The city of Boston, the city of Miami, that old stadium in Cleveland. But one thing that should be on your hit list is the very Commonwealth known as Pennsylvania. In their history, the New York Jets have played 16 games between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. They've only won one of them in their entire history. And that was the game against Pittsburgh where Brad Smith returned the opening kick for a touchdown.
And we should be ashamed of this. How dare we?
Now, there are two ways to look at this, Jeremy. And I'd love to hear. Number one, Jeremy, did you know that crazy stat? We've played 16 games in the state of Pennsylvania. We've only come away victorious once. Did you know that?
I didn't know it to that detail. I just knew, and I was saying it the other day. In my memory, in 40 years, it's hard to even believe we beat them 6 times. And the Brad Smith one, I guess that you pulled back the memory, Adam, because my memory of 40 years of being a Jets fan is that we always lose to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I heard somebody, I think it might even been you. It's like, I literally can't remember a time when we beat the Steelers. Somebody was saying that this week. And I'm like, yeah, it's hard.
All week long, I'm trying to think, did we ever beat them? And I forgot about the Brad Smith game.
We beat them a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Y2K?
The last time we played Pittsburgh was 2019. We beat them. Mason Rudolph was quarterback, and I think that's
that's
why.
right. That was part of the 6-2 resurgence that
One
got
game
everybody
winning streak.
excited for Adam Gase. Right,
We had a 1-game winning streak against Pittsburgh. This is important.
It's interesting. Now, before we get into the actual trivia question, I want to just bring up AbLab Studios Super Chat. I almost forgot and moved past it, so I'm grateful that I didn't. Thank you, AbLab. He says, look, yes, we all pray for Tua. We hope he's okay, but there's another side to this as far as the football side is concerned. He says the Tua injury has me smelling blood in the water. Maybe Miami has become vulnerable. Now, what do you think, Jeremy? Do you think that this is, Tua going down, you think they're at a disadvantage with Teddy Bridgewater, or do you think they're fine?
I don't know. Bridgewater did pretty good against us last year when he played for Denver. So
24-0.
Yeah, we have this way.
That
game.
We have this way. I was saying it to a Steelers fan. I was doing a pregame with him show, and we were talking. He's saying how bad Trubinsky is, and I said, no, you don't understand. We have a way in the past 20 games of making any quarterback look like an all-pro. As a matter of fact, I think, what is it? In the last 20 games, quarterbacks against us have, 140 quarterback passing rating? So it's something crazy. But, I mean, I don't know if it's an advantage or not, only because it just doesn't seem like we stop any quarterbacks regardless.
Right.
We need to get our house in order. I mean,
I know.
It doesn't matter who's injured, J.K. Dobbins is injured, Ronnie Stanley's injured. We need to get our house in order. We need to learn how to block. We need to learn how to tackle. We need to learn how to throw a pass to open receivers. We need to learn how to do the basic things that you do as a football team. Doesn't matter who the other teams all have good players all up and down their roster. Teddy Bridgewater is just fine. If they went with Skylar Thompson, he'd probably beat us. So we need to just improve. We need to focus on us, not who's injured on the other team.
About the only quarterback I'm confident we would beat the crap out of is probably like Brian Hoyer if Mac Jones can't come back.
Yeah,
Hoyer's going to light us up.
He's going to light. I know. Well, we'll have an opportunity in very near future. And look, we're about to play Trubisky. I mean, it's like if we can't take advantage of that, then we're in big trouble. Jeremy, there's a comment for you from our good friend Chris DiNardo. I don't think Jeremy's camera is close enough. Can he move closer? He's hard to see. I know Jeremy's like.
I usually use my work PC, and I'm using this giant Mac, and I guess there's a way to adjust the camera or something. But
you just move back. Oh, but you're trying to see
I
the
would
screen.
have to move back here. So
yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, but I can't see anything. I can't see the super chats. I can't tell you what's going on.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait to have I've had to put, you guys know I've been building a studio and I can only go in there for 2 hours at a clip. This weekend, it should be done. And I'm putting in the floor and I cannot wait. So I can't wait to have my cameras and stuff set up too. So Jeremy, I do relate, bouncing around and doing, it's not easy. It's not easy to always have to adjust. And so I get it, but yeah, you might want to just move back a little bit. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Right? Thank you, Chris. That was funny.
They want to see the shine on my head, right?
Right. Now, I see there's a few more super chats in there. Thank you. We're going to get to them just as soon as we get past the trivia. So let's do the trivia. Now, guys, we know the rules. The rules are don't cheat and go to Google or Bing or any other search engine. Let's try to do this with our own knowledge of the New York Jets. And then Y2K is going to start a 4-minute timer. We have to find the answer within 4 minutes. Go ahead and put your thoughts and guesses in the chat. If we don't get it past within 4 minutes, then we lose. So Y2K, you're up, buddy.
Okay, so a moment ago, we talked about the Jets' putrid history in Pennsylvania. Well, it goes even deeper than that with the Pittsburgh Steelers specifically. You know that in the first 15 times that the Jets played the Steelers, the Jets won one time. They lost 14 of their first 15 games against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The one victory, see, we're going to focus on the positives here. The one victory was on October 30th, 1988. It was a 24-20 victory. And probably the defining play, one of the defining plays of that game that helped turn the game around was a blocked punt by the Jets. My question is, who blocked the punt? Your time starts now.
Okay, what year was it again, Y2K?
I knew I have an idea. 1988.
1988. Who blocked it? That would be JoJo Townsell.
Nick Shine's favorite player, but I'm afraid that is not correct.
Brad Smith.
Yes, it's Brad Smith.
He does everything for you.
That's right. B-Trav says Jerome Barkham. Is that accurate?
Jerome Barkham is incorrect.
Eric McMillan.
It is not Eric McMillan, and it is not James Hasty.
Now, is it Kurt Sohn?
Kurt Stone? No.
Kurt Springs?
Not Kurt Springs.
Johnny Johnson.
It is not Johnny Johnson.
Kurt. It's all right. Wait. It's all right.
Kurt.
James Hasty.
Oh, he already said it.
Yeah, he said Eric McMillan, so I immediately came back. It's not him or Hasty.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay.
I know Jeremy loves both of them. So,
guys, let's get some guesses in the chat here.
I like 1189 Paris. The producers of the movie Smile should hire Jeremy for their advertising campaign.
Yeah, did you see that? That's funny.
It was great.
Narvish says Roger Vick.
Incorrect.
Now, Jeff Otis Brown saying Kyle Clifton.
Kyle Clifton.
I feel it's funny. I feel like I might actually remember this play. I mean, maybe not, but I feel like I do. Like I can see it.
Yeah.
I want to say Darrell Davis, but I think that was against Detroit in 1990. Not Darrell Davis, right?
I don't think I've even heard of Darrell Davis, to be honest with you. Incorrect.
This is going to be hard. Greg Buttle.
Tim Tebow.
2 minutes down, 2 minutes to go.
Lance Mell.
Lance Mell, incorrect. Was Lance Mell still playing in 1988? I think his knees were.
I don't know.
Wesley Walker.
Wesley Walker, incorrect.
Okay, Aaron Glenn that's too early for Aaron Glenn.
Right.
Al Toon. Yeah, it's not Al Toon.
Al Toon didn't play. Yeah, I don't think he played special teams, but
in our mind.
Oh,
Chris Donardo Baker. That was way later. He's talking about Chris Baker. Remember him?
Chris Baker. He was
the Jets thought he was
tight end.
They thought he was going to be the next big thing. He was a third-round pick. They were raving about him. He was always mediocre at best. He had a couple good games.
He was okay. Then he was still on the team when they traded for Doug Jolly and pushed him down the depth chart. And Baker was better than Jolly. I know, Doug Jolly. That was one of the dumbest trades they ever made, and that is saying a lot.
I know. Stupid. Gave up their first-round pick. It's just crazy. Paris says Bob Crable. It's not Crabette, Tupa, Mo Lewis. They all came later, guys.
They all came.
Wannabe says Freeman McNeil. Now I doubt it, but let's do this. 1988. Was it Joe Klecko?
It is not Joe Klecko.
Mark Gastineau.
It is not Mark Gastineau.
Marty Lyons.
It is not anybody on the New York Stock Exchange.
Abdul Salam. I gotta say it. I gotta finish. Right? I gotta finish.
Johnny Hector.
Johnny Hector.
It is not Johnny Hector.
Jim Thorpe. Oh, Stud City with Dimitri Patterson. How dare you? You're not allowed. I thought we agreed never to bring him up again.
Wow.
Dimitri Patterson. We're not allowed to say that name.
That's a curse word in this.
That's right, man. I take that personally.
Yeah.
I know Chris Brading. I just want to yell tune again.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
I
4,
don't got it.
3,
I don't have it.
2, 1. Yep. And
Talk
just went
about it.
off. The correct answer is John Shake Your Booty. John Booty.
John Booty. Oh, I remember John Booty. I remember John Booty. That's right.
I think 3 years with the Jets, played with the Giants for a little bit. I believe Tampa as well. So
Yeah,
he blocked the
wow.
punt against the Steelers.
John
That game.
Booty. All right, good. Wat2K got us this week, guys. We are. What's our record now, Wat2K?
I think you guys are 6-2 at this point. That was only the second time that I stumped everybody. So 6-2. So you're doing
6-2.
well. Yeah,
Not too bad. Well, you got to commend Wat2K yet again for having a difficult yet applicable question, man. He finds these things. I'm really impressed.
I don't think so. I think he's up for criticism. He went to the 80s to find a special teams question. Who in the world is going to remember a special teams
Well,
you know
question?
what? Green
That's
Bean's
a big
how
play.
the 80s are his wheelhouse.
Yeah,
And then
man.
Yeah, but
It's a big
special
play,
teams-
Frankie. But think about it. It's a big play, so it would stick out against the team that we're playing this week. So I like it.
All right.
I like
Frankie, if the question isn't from the last 5 years, you have something to say about it. Let's be honest.
Well, good job, Wat2K. Nice tries in the even with Paris's bullshit. You bringing up Dimitri Patterson again. Still a good job, Wat2K, I think. Even though we lost, I think that was good. Mike Saunders checking in with the super chat. He says, I read an article that stated Saleh has a rule that forbids players on offense and defense from being able to call audibles to change plays. Thoughts? I don't know if that's the case. I think we've seen CJ Mosley call audibles, and we've also seen Zach Wilson call audibles.
It would be extremely unusual for the quarterback not to be able to audible. I mean,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I mean, we heard early on, we did hear something that Zach Wilson wasn't there yet. Remember, like the first quarter of the season, he wasn't able to yet or something like that. Something like that came out. But I don't think that's accurate, Mike. Now, let me say this. If it was accurate, if that's the truth, then Robert Saleh, one more chink in the armor, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You gotta be able to do things in real time. You have to trust your players.
I mean,
It's like we were all talking about like, Zach shouldn't come back this week. Like, what do you mean Zach shouldn't come back this week? Why? We're scared? Like, no, we have to put players out there. The best guys play, and we got to try to actually win. The whole thing isn't to protect people, and that's so. If that was true, Mike, I would have a big problem with that. What do you think, Wat2K? Would that be a problem for you, or are you okay with that?
It would be. Now, if you're talking about Zach, first of all, I'd like to know where the article was from and who wrote it. That's the first thing that I need to know.
No. Just react. We don't have to know if it's real. Just react.
Okay, so it's just hypothetical. So
What is this shit?
So is that credibility? God forbid. So
Fucking
Zach's
crazy.
a rookie. Zach's a rookie. I could see them saying, "Hey Zach, we don't want you to like take too many audibles. We don't want you to do this. Let's just go with the plan for right now. That's fine." I could see that to start off for the first few games while he's getting comfortable in the NFL. In the defense, that would make no sense to me whatsoever, and I would have a problem with that, especially considering that Robert Saleh doesn't call plays. He has nothing to do with play calling duty. So then if it was true, why would he have a rule that the players can't change the calls that he isn't making? It doesn't
Think about
make
this.
sense.
The other thing is you can watch this at home. I mean, anytime they go to their heads, like you see the quarterback go this way and then everybody touches their head. That's an audible.
Right.
You saw Zach Wilson do it all year last year. I mean, just watch it.
And when they do that, doesn't that mean that they got the look they want? Right? It
could mean they got the look they want, or it could mean we got a different look that we don't want, but now we're changing the play. So more than likely, it's an audible, or you can hear him say kill, 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 or can. That's
right.
changing.
That means go to the other thing. Forget what I said in the huddle. It's the other one.
Yeah, right.
Which one? I don't know. Just do something. Go out there and block people. Run around. I'll find you.
Yeah,
we don't know what it means, but it means they're changing it. And so we've seen Zach do that. I mean, and Flacco and everybody. That's just part of offense. If you had a quarterback who was not allowed to change the play, you would have that would be a problem, because you can't run running plays into heavy boxes, and you can't run, and et cetera, et cetera. You need to go in and out of plays that make sense based on what the defense does.
Yeah.
Look, if you tell a quarterback he can't call audibles, you either are a coach that's a mental case, or you have a quarterback that you can't trust to call audibles, which means they shouldn't be on the field.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Mike, I mean, Mike's bringing up, he said that Saleh said that Mosley was the only player to do it. He said that generally speaking, they don't call audibles, but it's not that it's not allowed. You know what I mean? He just said like most of the time they just run the play that we call, but CJ Mosley saw something, and if he wasn't allowed to do it, he wouldn't have did it. You know what I mean?
And the back end is always
I hear
changing.
you.
So you have to think about it. When you see those guys in the back end doing all the hand signals and this and that, it's the defensive backs, and they're changing what they're doing based on what they're seeing. So you may not change what's going on up front, but the defensive backs have to adjust to what they're seeing the receivers and everybody do. That's going on all the time.
Yeah, I mean, look, let me say this. You know, there's probably some truth to, like, you know, I don't know. It's probably not as black and white as, you know, one side or the other of it. I'm going to admit, like, I haven't heard that. You know what I mean? So again, it's, you know, maybe maybe we're even talking about he doesn't even allow his coaches to call audibles. He can't do anything. Just that we plan it before the game, and that's the defense we're running all day.
That would be terrible coaching if that were true. I mean,
well, like I said, Frankie, I don't know if Quincy Williams was so mad at White Cotton for the you know, the blitz. That would, I mean, is White, you know, is it not Ulbricht? I mean, that would, there's a lot of confusing aspects to this. Like, number one, like, let's say Solid, no, you know, we don't allow players to really adjust too much unless it's absolutely necessary. And then Jeff Ulbricht's calling the defense. Solid's not involved, but White Cotton calls the blitz, and he's in charge of the defensive line rotations. Like,
I mean, this would be a nightmare. I mean, what you're talking about here would be chaos and nightmares. Maybe it would appeal to Jeremy as Jets chaos, but
yeah,
it would be like chaos on the sidelines. Like, you don't want that. That would be terrible, and it would be surprising. So I doubt it.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. It's a good question though, Mike. I mean, you know, let me say this though, no matter what, I don't love it if that's the case. That I don't like that idea. I think they have to be able to trust players to be able to see stuff out there. Like, again, real time. And this is what we were talking about with Mike LaFleur.
Yeah. That's 100% right.
You know, like, even like with Mike LaFleur, like, okay, now you planned the game with George Fant and Max Mitchell. Now, George Fant went down. Now you got Conor McDermott. He's getting beat. Like, you have to be able to adjust to that. And I don't think he did a damn good. I mean, I don't think he did anything to adjust to it last week. He just let Conor McDermott, I mean, every now and then they had a little chip, but it wasn't like, you know, they needed to adjust their protections to account for that weakness. And they did not do that. And we saw the results. You know, it was like, I mean, Conor McDermott, he was barely, you know, a stick to jump over. You know, he was barely an obstacle for the defensive ends, and it was just, you know, again, I'd like to believe that they can adjust in real time, and that includes the players. If they can't, there's a problem, man. Yeah. Shivanasu Prasad, this is what did we used to call you? I forget, what was it? Damn it, something bean, right? Baked beans. What were you? I forget. You got to put it in there. I forget what it was. Just realized that the next games the Jets play are against opponents with extra rest. Pittsburgh, Finns, Broncos all play Thursday night football. But what is that? Is it real? So, right, we're going to play the Dolphins. Like, Pittsburgh just had a rest. Now Miami's going to have a rest. Then
Green Bay is London.
They're going to be rusty.
Rusty. Yeah, right. How come when we get rest, we're rusty? It's a detriment to us.
Right.
Bye weeks.
You gotta just worry about yourself, man. Like, block somebody, tackle somebody, hit an open receiver, hit the right hole if you're a running back. That's all that matters.
Agreed. But Frank, again,
Agreed,
it's out. If it's real, there's what is it? What does it mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
It does mean something. What do you think?
You'd have to do an analysis of all the other teams to see what it means. Maybe there's other teams that fall into the same category. It means nothing. Just tackle somebody and run the ball and catch the ball and stop roughing the passer and doing stupid things and just play
I'd like to see how many teams play 3 straight Thursday night football, 11 days of rest teams. I'd like to see.
We're not going to catch any breaks. I don't know. We've always said that. We have to overcome the refs and the league and the flags and the everything, the opponents and the rest. Why should we get any breaks? We've stunk for over a decade. We don't get any breaks.
I think that's the exact argument for breaks. That's why the whole NFL system is geared toward giving the worst teams the picks and the waiver wire order. And it's supposed to be that way.
We have all that. and we still stunk. So
Yeah, well,
they need a joke. They need a punching bag. Maybe we're just the punching bag. Yeah,
I'm glad I'm a
NFL
fan of
punching
that.
bag.
I'm glad that's the team I picked.
We're the NFL punching bag.
And but the Packers are in between the Miami and the Denver game, and the Packers are going to be playing the London game before they play us. So don't forget that one also.
Right. So then we should beat the Packers then by this logic.
Absolutely. Aaron, who?
And if we don't, then what does it matter when these other teams beat us, right? So it's like,
Well, because we're already beating the hell up. I mean, we didn't play the Packers first. We're getting our ass kicked for weeks by the rested team, and then they throw us a bone, and we're already done. It's like starving me for 6 months, and then as I lay there dead, you throw me a cheese sandwich.
Come on,
dead.
Eat the cheese sandwich.
I'm already dead. I've died, Frankie. Ant Jets, you guys are awesome. You're awesome, Ant Jets. Thank you for the super chat. Ant Jets, I firmly believe that your balls need a little shaving, buddy. That's what I think. Here's how you do it.
But don't overdo it, though.
No, you got to be careful.
Keep the blade up.
Go. That's how. You see?
See, the orange represents
you see the light on the. You see it, but Frankie, look at the. See the light reflection.
And all the hair that was on that orange before.
I know. Now look how smooth it is, everybody. This was a hairy orange. Well, they're the sweetest.
Those
so
rare hairy oranges.
Fuzzy navel. That's what they call it.
Fuzzy navel. Oh God.
That's what we got.
I see where you went there. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, what else we got here? Any more things to talk about in the chat? What do we got? Are we lovable? Yeah, we're the lovable losers of the NFL. That's us.
Are we lovable? I don't think we're except the lovable part.
Yeah, take lovable out.
Bags.
Yeah, take lovable out. That's us.
Yep.
And no wonder we're so
not the
pissed.
Cubs. Yeah, we're not the Cubs of baseball before 2016. We're nothing like that. We're just the team people pity. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. Thank you, Rex, we didn't realize how incredibly hard it actually was, Rex. Thank you.
Yeah. And Derek Mangini for building the roster.
Yeah, he really did a good job. Revis, Mangold, Ferguson, Golston. Very good.
Revis and Golston. Super Sod with one more Lima Bean with one more super chat.
Lima Bean. There it is. Thank you. Why didn't you tell me? Did you just remember?
I just he reminded you he has a super chat.
Yeah, it was another super chat.
Okay, there it is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Schedule is an excuse, but it's fishy. Lima bean. There it is. Thank you. What would I call you? Baked beans? Sorry about that. Yeah, but Chris Bradigan says your first love always breaks your heart. And there it is. That's the way it goes. It's the truth. It's very rare that somebody falls in love for the first time and walks off into the sunset with that person. It's very rare. It happens. Very, very rare. And it's certainly not us. Well, thank you, Shivanasu Prasad. I appreciate the last super chat. Guys, I want to thank you all for being here. This was a very, very fun show. It is now 10:25, and that will take us to the end. This was good. I think we're going to beat the Steelers, everybody. I think this is a good week. They're matched up perfectly for us. Zach Wilson's coming back. He's going to throw for 313 yards with 3 touchdowns. He's also going to rush for 34 yards, 313, 34 rushing, 3 touchdowns, 1 to Breece Hall, 2 to Denzel Mims, who's going to be activated this week. You'll see. I'm calling it all. So, Jeremy, quickly, what do you got? You got anything exciting coming up for the people in the chat?
I got something so unbelievably exciting. I am going to be in Washington State, just outside of Portland, Oregon, right over the state line on Sunday, airing with Green Bean on Greenbeanjetsfan, trying to keep my brother from running behind me because he desperately wants to get his head on your channel.
But what are you doing? What do you mean running? You're going to be actually running a marathon or something?
No, I'm going to physically be there. I'm going to be watching the game from there. I'm going on a little vacation on Saturday. I'm going to fly to visit my brother and see his new house. So I will be doing the watch party with you from there.
Nice. Maybe you'll put the camera at a proper length and have it straight and all that. We'll see. Well, hey, yeah, you got to tune in to see.
Yeah,
Gotta
he'll
do
use the
Exactly
trimmer.
the
Yeah.
same. You know,
Right.
for the viewers, Jeremy will be exactly the same, except Jeremy will be in a new location.
That's
the
exactly.
There it is. Jeremy's in a new location. Hey, maybe now that he's with his brother, maybe we'll try to figure out a system that every time we do something, Jeremy and his brother got to drink hot sauce. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a good way to celebrate. Plus, I have
Every-
Knobcraft sent me a very, very hot sauce. So I'm going to bring it up to my brother. So we'll have a sauce made by one of our viewers.
Every time the Steelers sack Zach Wilson, you gotta do a shot of hot sauce.
You
You
got
guys
to.
will be on
He's taking the
fire.
other way. He's making it a penance, like a torture.
Yeah,
My God.
that's how it
So-
should be. That'll be
so,
like 10 shots.
Yeah. All right. Y2K. What do you got coming up? Anything big?
I'm just trying to figure out what the hell Mo's talking about. Zach with 3 sacks and Lawson with 3
He's
touchdown
a
passes.
troll.
That's
Don't
reverse.
feed
He's
the
doing the
trolls.
reverse.
There you go.
He's doing
All right,
the
well,
reverse.
I just posted a video about 2 hours ago. I did my week 4 NFL confidence picks. I pick winners every single week. Tomorrow I'll be releasing my 5 bold predictions for Jets versus Steelers. And then Sunday night, after the game's over, it's the 3 key plays you might not remember that affected the outcome of the game. I've been putting up Mets content this week, Rangers content this week, which I know Steven Engel loves to hear, and it's been getting a lot of views. It is the way it is. But I'm having a great time doing the content. Again, thank you for the thank GreenBean. Thanks for the Manscaped products, man. This stuff is great.
Oh,
And,
awesome.
Everybody should definitely give it a shot, guys. It's going to work well for you. It's good stuff.
There you go. Y2K, New York Sports Wicker Media, Jets Chaos. Let's get over to Frankie from
Whoa.
Flatbush. What do you got coming out, Frankie?
Amazing play, Bridgewater to Hill for
I saw that.
900 million yards. Wow.
Incredible.
We're going to miss Tua next week.
Good coverage,
Yeah,
too.
Don't worry, we'll have this combo: Bridgewater to Tyreek for 1,000,000
Yeah.
yards. Oh,
And he
boy.
was interfered with twice. He still
this
got
guy,
it. Yeah, I know.
freaking guy. We were this close to getting him. But anyways, Frankie from Flatbush Channel. Join Coffee with Frankie on Sunday morning, 11 a.m. before the game. We can commiserate and see what's going on before the game, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Frankie from Flatbush channel.
There it is. Frankie from Flatbush on YouTube. Frankie also does audiobooks. I don't know if you're doing that anymore, Frankie. Are you? You still doing
My
audiobooks?
audiobook channel was taken down by YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, for
Why?
killing me.
What'd they
Because,
do?
What happened?
well, they got complaints from the big publishers, and it's all public domain stuff, but it's sort of like, sort of like the NFL with GreenBean. Like, who's YouTube going to listen to? The independent creator or the big moneyed interest? And so they listened to the big money interests and they said, let's get rid of all Frankie. So they demonetized everything. So it's pretty much over with that.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm sorry to bring it up. I apologize.
Right.
I didn't want to stick my finger in your cuts on your ribs. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
So,
all right. Hey, that's the world we live in. Big business runs the world, as we all know.
That's right. You know it. And they do not play by the rules, everybody. Matthias Simon, every month on the Greenhouse, we do Jets Provider of the Month. This month, Green Show. And you can find that on Facebook. Our good buddy Matthias Simon. I like to call him Matt. I don't know if he still allows that, but I do it nonetheless. That's what I knew him. I knew him as Matt 56 for 15 years before this Matthias stuff came out. Either way, he's on the Facebook with the Greenhouse. Really good dude. So anyway, guys, don't forget, like the video if you haven't already. It's very, very helpful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. And we are now putting out daily content as best I can. Daily content. And the studio will be coming hopefully this coming week, man. I'm ready. I'm so sick of this. I want out of this like living room. I can't wait. And I thank all you guys for the support. If you want to join the Beanbaggers, we just did the Midnight Miracle on Wednesday night. It was a blast. And you can get private access and additional content from the Beanbaggers. The link is in the description. And don't forget about our sponsor, Manscaped. It's time. You've been thinking about it. Now is the time. You can save more money than ever before using the promo code GreenBean and free shipping, even if you live in Malaysia, even if you live in Guam. They'll ship it to you for free if you use the promo code GreenBean and get the performance package. That all said, have a great night, everybody. We do appreciate you being here. It's such a good time. Thank you, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man.
I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there. You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.